Welcome to the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's at his ideal weight if he were 10 feet tall, beef loaf. Never holding but always partaking, not hungry but will eat, my sock summer. And your host, he's aged and smells like a sharp cheddar, Terezi E.
Thank you, Quarnsey, and welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beef Loaf says allegedly, or that he wrote a blog about that, you drink.
A lot of blog talk tonight, baby.
If My Sock Summer talks about bobbleheads or mentions his time on the West Coast, you drink.
No plans yet, but I'm going to now.
I swear, or say, here's the thing, you drink. Beef Loaf, how you doing tonight?
You know what, boys? It's been a bit of an uneven week for me. Early on in this week, the missus and I had scheduled a little trip. We're going to get out of town, celebrate our 19th anniversary, which actually the real date of our 19th anniversary is next week, Wednesday. And my wife's grandfather passed away on Friday of last week. So we ended up having to go to Des Moines for a funeral. It's interesting, like when you're the spouse and it's like a grandparent, it's not an instant obligation to have to go to something like this. You know, at least from what I've observed in my life of seeing kind of other people and how families work. But for me, I've been in this man's home so many times. I've known the man over 20 years, and I've been with my wife for 21 years. The first time I remember he welcomed me into his home. He doesn't know me from anyone. And he asked me if I want a whiskey sour, and he makes whiskey sours for us. And he talks about how he's trying to pick winners at the dog track. And I was like, this is my kind of guy right here. First thing he wants to do, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's have a cocktail and let's talk about some gambling. I was like, this is my dude right here. So it was nice to see the whole family, get a chance to go back and see people. We saw them kind of a couple months ago. And it was like, it was for him and his, Kristen's, or Mrs. Beef's wife, grandfather and grandmother's anniversary. And we had kind of gotten back as a fan. So we got to see him one last time before he had passed. But it was just great to see, that side of the family again. Always a good time with that crew. Mrs. Beef, short notice. She got put on spot. It's like, you do this for a living. You're going to go up there and you're going to read like kind of the life story thing, right? And so, you guys know Mrs. Beef is great at this shit. So she gets the thing like the day before. We're in the hotel room and we're trying to figure out the pronunciation of where he served in the war in Germany. And Bonita Stakey just pulled it up on YouTube and pulled up the pronunciation with some German thing. And she kept hitting replay it over and over and over again until we all knew the pronunciation before we were going to go up there, before Mrs. Beef was going to go up there and do it. But Mrs. Beef did a great job. Come home Tuesday exhausted because it was whirlwind. We drove out to Des Moines on Monday. We drove back Tuesday. I'm just chilling in the Beef Cave, picking up some stuff. I got the game on in the back room. I hear the music for Sox Math. I'm like, well, I should get to my phone and just try it. You never know. And, of course, since I played Terezi, of course I fucking won. So I won Sox Math. For the second time
I knew this was just a fucking build-up to talk about Sox Math.
Third time in
Pull him in with the dead grandfather.
Career. Well, what people don't realize is when someone like the Beef Loaf wins twice in a year, I'm not in front of the TV very much for games because we're usually over at the ballpark all together. And then when the Sox are on the road, I could be listening in the backyard. I could be doing whatever. So it was nice to get a second win. It was one of those ones where if you just like think quickly through it, if I had to go to Baseball Reference and find shit I have zero chance of winning, it's got to be shit I know off the top of my head and can just snap my finger at and do. So I win. Twitter's going nuts. And I get a lot of requests for the hot tub video. And it's a good thing because I had no other ideas. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had no ideas. I was sitting in the chair after I'd won. I was thinking, got to do another fucking video. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I thought, all right, the hot tub. I'll do the hot tub video. People wanted the hot tub video. And a certain segment of Sox Twitter did enjoy the hot tub video, especially me missing the hook shot at the end, which I thought was the key comedic moment to it.
Oh, yeah.
But I got kind of a lot of, he did the hot tub again. Kind of like that. I don't. What did you guys think? Me doing the hot tub twice.
Mostly the guy
I
doing
told you
that.
to do the cold tub, right?
Yeah.
I told you. Now you fucked up.
Yeah. Well, when I win it the third time, I'll do the cold tub.
Yeah, that's true. You should be like, is this a feed thing? No, it's not. It's a cold tub. I put my balls in there.
My favorite thing about this shit is you telling us like, oh, you don't watch that much. You don't watch the games on TV that much. And like, it's such a rarity that you'd be in front of the TV. It's like Tommy Callahan telling people how few D pluses get handed out in school. Like, I was proud of you. Now I hate it. Like,
well, what did you think of the video? Forget the accomplishment, which is obviously something you'll never accomplish, Treasy. What did you think of the video?
I haven't seen it. You didn't send it. So like,
I haven't seen it either.
I've only seen clips of it from YouTube.
I'm out here
from
these Twitter streets trying to better our brand. And my two guys, they haven't seen it. They haven't even bothered to look.
Did you tweet it out?
No, it was on the game. You can go back.
I was with you at the fucking game.
On MLB.TV or whatever. You go back and look at that shit.
I don't have that. I have it recorded.
I do.
I'll watch it tomorrow.
I didn't know that they showed those bits on there.
Listen, I'm sorry that I was paying attention to my kid today. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was involved in her.
Back with the kid. Always.
I mean, it is. It is. It's one thing that that I can't get rid of. Like I can shake a lot of things. I can't shake her for some reason. Like as soon as I feel like I gotten ahead a little bit, they fucking pull me back down, and I'm like, motherfucker.
You know what? I did not take advantage of child sympathy as much as I should have when my daughter was younger. I should have taken a little more advantage.
I feel like if you were doing this when Bonita was little, you would have, because you would be the only one with kids right now. So literally, and then you would be like, oh man, I got shit all over underneath my fingernails right now because of this.
I can do that without a child. We all know that.
That's true. I mean, that's true. That's not saying much.
Who's better at math?
We got an interesting question there.
Treasy is. I think Treasy is. I'm just better at the quick twitch like that. I could do a certain amount in my head fast, but after a certain threshold, I'm no good. Treasy's better than I overall.
It's
I don't know if I'm better at math than you. I mean, like I used to be.
Yeah.
I have no idea if I still am. Like there's
clear.
There's a lot of bong rips in between there that may have damaged my mathing skills.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm such a braggart. Here's something negative about me. I'm wearing these big sunglasses, and they're making me sweat balls right now. I have no idea why I'm sweating so much. Fuck. These things attract heat or something.
Well, you got your ring light on too. Those are hot.
I never sweat during the show.
I got a little fan down here that I put on me, so I don't sweat. It's great. Oh. It's the air moving. I like air circulating. It's my favorite.
But Beef, how you doing, baby?
Wait, before you get to that, Beef, in all seriousness, I love that you won Sox Math again. And we were like at the game, like what was funny was I'm sitting there with Josh Nelson, and he's like, I think Beef just won Sox Math. And like we're looking at the feed, and I'm like, what's awesome was the answer was like we didn't know what the question was, but we saw two prevalent answers. One was 0 and one was 1.
Yep. And
you had the first 1.
Yep.
And the first 0 was P-Knowles.
Yes.
And we're like, if P-Knowles wins, I think we should still have Beef Loaf do the hot tub video. But it was you.
Put a red wig on me.
It was good to see Morty in there, and it was also good to see you miss a basket. It was very reminiscent of your free throw shooting in high school. Although, you know what's funny?
Yeah, you had to get that in there, huh?
Every motherfucker that gave you shit about that acted like they could all spin the ball on their finger.
Oh, I know.
Like that was like nothing. Everyone could do that.
I know. That was the. I thought that was a good
skill.
Contrast right there, right? Mm-hmm. The useless skill I spin on the finger, and then I did a couple different takes of that, the whole sequence right there. I just liked the way that one sounded the best, and also the finger spin was the best on that one. It was the cleanest of those. And I missed the shot, and I get like through a couple takes. I'm like, do I keep reshooting this until I make the shot? I'm like, no fucking way. Missing the shot is the funniest fucking part of it. Like everything goes good, and then the end it's just like you fucked up. You know?
I just imagine you having like a massive blister on your finger from spinning the ball on it 600 times to make that shot.
Take 38.
You know, the funniest thing of the video, and I haven't seen the newest one, but like I saw it because I think Joy posted a video screen capture of it, and like I'm like, for being as loud as you are, your audio is so quiet in those videos.
Oh, I know, it was tough.
It's like, you're so loud, you project like a motherfucker, and I'm like, how is this not louder? Like when it's up there,
you know what it is? It's basically the audio from doing the Sunday Soak, except in the Sunday Soak we're using a phone, right? So the phone is freestanding. This is my laptop. So my laptop, it's sitting kind of on, I prop it up on something, but I just think it's not, the microphone isn't good enough to collect the sound that well from that far away. Like
we gotta get a little boom mic that goes into the phones. I think we should
for the next time I win. We'll get the
for that specifically, not for the Sunday Soak. We'll keep the audio horrible for the Sunday Soak. We'll make sure that your next Fox Smash victory is very I want to say legible.
Listenable.
Yeah, that's not the word. So yeah, good day.
My Sock Summer, how you doing, man?
I'm fine. I was I was gonna talk about something during banter, and I thought I like all these different things. Then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna advertise something, and then we decided not to do that. So we're gonna do something else. And so I this morning, my daughter, who's been like iffy about going to school, she was like, I'm sick, and my wife was like, oh hey, she woke up last night, because I was at the game with you guys, and she woke up and she had to go use the bathroom, and then she wasn't feeling good. She seemed really hot, so let's see. And then my other daughter had just had like this little virus that went through us, and we tested her COVID negative, so we're good. That's all good. But so we wake up in the morning, and when I'm talking to her, and I'm like, hey, how do you feel? Because I just took your temperature, and you don't have a fever. I go, you should probably go to school. And she's like, I don't know if I want to go to school. And I go, okay, but like, you don't get to like just sit home and watch TV. You don't get to do this. And she goes, yeah, no. She's like, Tess said I get to watch TV because that's what she did when she was sick. I go, well, she was actually sick. Like, I don't know if you're sick, but I'm gonna let you stay home because that's what my parents would do to me too. Like, you're like, you were never, man. If I was sick on a Friday, I was still going to school because I would fuck myself for 3 days. They're like, you ain't going nowhere this weekend. You stayed home from school. You can't be doing nothing. So like, I'm telling her this, and so she's like, well, maybe I should try to go to school then. I go, okay, cool. So we try, and then she finally goes, no, I don't know if I can do it. And then like she throws this curveball at me and she says, oh, I already missed the bus now, so I can't go to school. And I was like, I can drive your ass to school. So let's go. And then she's like, nah, I don't know. So anyways, this is all going on. So I'm like, okay, fine. And she seems fine during the day and she's okay. And so like we run to, she doesn't have a fever. I keep checking her temperature. We run to Costco, get some gas, go buy some stuff. And then we're coming home and like, I got to pick up the other kid soon. So I put her down. She's like laying on the couch. She falls asleep. I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign at all. Because she never falls asleep. We're watching the Sox and she wakes up, or I have to wake her up. And she's like, Dad, I don't feel good. I don't know if I want to do this. And I'm like, no, you got to, because I can't leave you here by yourself. It would seem like a very bad parent move to leave your 4-year-old sick and alone in the house. Even though I'm just going up the block, still seems like a bad idea. So she comes with us. We get back home. Not 15 minutes of walking in the door, blah, everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? I'm never doubting my daughter again. Like, she knew it. She knew she was sick. She knew there was something off, something wrong. Even though she tried to mind fuck me like 3 times on different shit, she was totally right. So I want to apologize. She's right back. Oh, it's right there. I want to apologize to Little Miss Shortstop that I made you go to Costco today because I didn't think you were sick. And then I wouldn't let you walk. I wouldn't ride in the cart because I didn't think you were sick. I made you walk, and then you fucking puked everywhere. It was my fault. I took it right on the chin. She did come running up to me. And she goes, Dad, my stomach don't feel too good. And I'm like, yeah. I go, it's probably because you're hungry. You didn't eat much lunch. And she goes, no, Dad, I think I'm gonna puke. I'm like, well, get the fuck out of here. Go puke. Go puke here. Go puke on me, not in the bed. This is my bed. So she made it. She's good at it. She's a good puker. She's like, can you help me? And I was like, yeah. So I was just holding her hand back. She's like, Dad, I don't like this. And then, bleh. It's like, this is great. She's good. She's going to make a good Swartley drinker when she gets older, like her dad. Just being all fucking hammered. But puked real good. Puked real good. So, yeah. So that was my day. I had my Monday. I had my one daughter, my youngest, homesick. and she was sleeping on the couch. Then I have this one homesick today. It's like, man, when you lose 2 out of 5 days, that like you're 2 days that you're supposed to get shit done, like, man, it just sucks. So when we get to the White Sox part tonight, don't be mad at me because I have 0 notes. So I'm just going right off the top of this the foot head or head foot.
You are getting
right off the head foot.
You usually got 0 to begin with. So what's
that's true?
Hey,
I mean,
two thoughts on My Sox Summer's banter here. Number one, you got to respect the balls on Little Miss Shortstop to conjure up the barf to cover up all the other shit she was trying to pull earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect that. That con game, I respect that tremendously. Number two, who's searching for more accolades in their banter, me or My Sox Summer?
What's funny is you felt like you were gonna feel bad for My Sox Summer in this story, but you don't.
No, you don't.
And he's getting absolutely ruined in the YouTube comments.
Yep.
And you know what? I love it. I love it all.
You know what? I mean, like the other dads see what I'm saying about him always trying to take all the dad glory. They're like, okay, he screwed up here. We're gonna get him this time.
And like to me, it blows my mind because like I have no kids.
No, not that you know.
And like this all just seems impossible to me. Like this is just like, I mean, it just like reinforces that I made a great choice. But like it's like I hear you guys talk about stuff like this, and then like Beef, you're like, you know, that's run of the mill shit. What are you bragging about? And I'm just thinking like I could never do this.
This is not what I'm talking about here.
No,
the call on whether or not you're going to keep them home.
It's so hard.
And then when they're home, like attending to their needs and stuff is, it's hard. Those are hard days. You're
because you just don't want to give into them on something when you think that it's fake, because then
you want to be compassionate. Also,
yes.
You want to like, you know, what if they are really sick? What if they really don't feel good? You know?
And I want to say to her, like, listen, I don't really care, but like, you're going to be behind then when you go back to school. So then now I knew she was sick because, well, she puked 7 times. But other than that, she was saying, I'm really miss my friends. I want to go back to school. I'm like, now you're sick because you want to go to school. You're 100% sick. So like, you feel that. But no, I am definitely not looking for accolades. I'm just talking about my day. That's it. That's all I'm doing out here in these Twitter streets. I'm not looking for somebody to say, hey, you're such a great dad, because I'm not. And I say that all the time, how bad of a dad I am.
The good thing is nobody's saying that.
That's true. Hey, there was a couple up there.
Between Billy Wires and Man Jack, he's getting absolutely tortured.
Billy was on my side.
There's the other one Billy put that you can't put up. You can't put that.
Yeah, I can't post the other one that Billy put, but it's fun.
Let me go. Let me go check.
It's not you. It's exactly it. Teresi, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Man. So like tomorrow, got the day off, so I'm gonna go hit Riot Fest, try and get out there early. I think I'm gonna at least try and get there in time to see Fishbone. Like that's they're playing at like 2 or something, so I'm gonna try and make sure I go see that. But I was thinking, like, I haven't been to a show in a long time, but also like Riot Fest is kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? Like there's nothing around it. So like there's a bit of stress to it about like, how am I going to get out of this place at the end? Right. Yeah. And like, you know, Ubers are going to be $1 billion. And I just keep thinking, and I don't think this is going to happen, but I don't know why it wouldn't. Like, it seems like the perfect opportunity for a bunch of bars to just drive like a shuttle over there and just be like, get as many people in this thing as possible. And then I'm taking you back to my bar. You can get an Uber from there. And but you could come into the bar too. Right. I feel like if I would be like, when I walk out of this thing, I am basically going to be like the dumb kid that will take strangers' candy, and like any large vehicle that's even pretends to be from a bar, I will get in that car. I will get in.
Where it's going.
If it was, I mean, if it was like a old school Chevy minivan, and it had a sign on the side that said like bar, I will probably get in that thing.
So are you saying that there's not going to be buses there doing this, or are you saying that there should be?
I'm saying that there should be. I think
there is.
Reggie's will be there.
Reggie's is there,
but that's like the one bus, right?
I mean, how many buses you need, motherfucker?
For like 20,000 people? A lot.
I'm looking.
MSS has no idea the magnitude of people that'll be.
No, I'm looking at the
one
bus
bus.
part.
The one bus that fits 40 people should be great for the 20,000.
It's big.
Out of there.
It took all the girls down on Alanis Morissette, which was somewhat shocking.
Yeah, but when the Alanis
That's in the inverse order, like
when the Alanis Morissette concert let out, you had to have like a wristband to get on that thing.
Yeah.
It's not like they just said everyone jump in.
Oh well, this has got. So you got like 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like they're going to be a lot of buses, man. I think you can get on there.
That's just the Reggie's bus.
Yeah.
And that's just going to it.
So should I put I
could easily get to Douglas Park. Why is this tough for you to understand?
I get it. I just didn't.
I have an idea right now. I think MSS drives to Riot Fest to pick you up at the end. What
that sounds great.
That'll work perfectly.
I'll write bus on my car with like a backwards S, and then on the back it says free candy, and then you just come running right in.
I'll know exactly where to go.
come running right into it. No,
Teresa, you're still of the age where you want to be standing at a festival all day. Because I was thinking, I looked at all that shit, and I was like, there's some good bands there, but I think I'm of the age where I really only want to go to see a concert where it's just whoever I'm going to see and maybe an opener. I don't really want to be at a thing all day.
Oh, but that's the thing, though. I mean, you're in a park, right? It's not like you're like in like a tight confined place and you're just standing the whole time, right? Like you could go off to the side and sit in like on a little hill in the shade and chill out for a while there's no bands that are like that you're terribly interested in, or just far enough away where you could hear a band that you're into. You could, there's food and stuff. So like, I don't know. To me, it's similar to going to the ballpark, right? I mean, like we're there for like between, drinking before and after. It's a good,
3 hours,
10 hours.
10 hours.
Sean's got a good SPS got a good little thing there. That nothing there other than Vice Lords, heroin, and thoughts.
Maybe.
You love thoughts, man.
And
thoughts are awesome.
That's why you can't really walk off and go to a place. Like it's not like it's at like Union Park where like you're like, okay, well it's a few blocks, like the Cobra Lounge is there, and then there's a few blocks away you get into the West Loop. Like it's not like that. You're just far from everything. So like you have to get a ride out of there. And I ain't driving there. That's nuts. So yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass.
The last time I was at Riot Fest, Teresa, you were playing it. One of your bands was playing it, not to brag. And I left before like the last band. And what I did was I got a rickshaw. And now no man should be forced to drag me however many miles that was to like back where the bars were at. Just my body and then his body and a couple wheels, just like making it happen. So I gave him double of what he said the rate was, just to make life even out life. You got to even life out.
You never had to get in one, and the guy's like, "All right, you're gonna have to help me get this started, but then we'll go. We'll be fine." Because I have. I have. Oh Lord.
Well, fellas, now this is not necessarily Mrs. Beefloaf's grandfather that passed away, but someone that I really enjoy recently passed away, which is Norm Macdonald. And so it's time for the show poll.
Ooh.
And what I'm asking you guys for is your favorite Norm Macdonald impersonation. Now, this is not someone impersonating Norm Macdonald. This is Norm Macdonald impersonating someone else. And my sock summer, I'll let you go first.
Let me go first.
I'll go last.
So I'm going to do one, and I found out a way I can do it. We can double use this character because it's an impersonation of a character within a character. And I'm going with Turd Ferguson. I'm not picking the other guy he actually is impersonating. I'm picking the other guy, Turd Ferguson, with the big, huge foam cowboy hat, and he's just the best. It's the best. I love that scene when you said this. When I read it momentarily before we started the podcast, that was the first thing that popped into my mind, and I'm like, I have to go first because I don't want to lose Turd Ferguson. So I'm taking Turd Ferguson.
That's not my name.
Him doing Burt Reynolds on Jeopardy is just incredible. I think that's probably top of most lists. Yeah. I don't know. Beef, who's your favorite one?
All right, so I mean, there's some obvious ones out there, but one that I really enjoy that I went back and watched a few of these, right before the show was when he would do David Letterman, and he would do the interplay with the band leader and shit, and they would keep bringing up these stupid fucking jokes during the thing. I'd say, "Hey, you got any gum?" Or how is the shrimp? Like bringing it back and back, and he would do the.
The laugh was like key to it all. Like that.
And I always thought that he had the little space too between his teeth. Always did. Those are so goddamn funny. So I'll go David Letterman. Treasy, how about you, baby?
Well, this is tough now because there's a bunch left, and like I kind of want to say Bob Dole, but I'm not going to say Bob Dole. I'm going to say Larry King.
Yes.
And the reason is, I don't know if you remember this, but he actually interviewed Larry King as Larry King.
Yes.
Which is just incredible. But so my pick is Larry King. But Beef, I've been watching a lot of Norm clips over the past few days, just a lot of stuff I'd never seen too, But there was this clip where I think he was on like Jimmy Kimmel, and he was talking to Super Dave Osborne before the show.
Yep.
And he's like, the guy kept calling me, and he just did a Super Dave impersonation, and it was so spot on. Like, it was incredibly good. And I was just like 8 people are going to really enjoy that. But I love that he like went as far as to just sound exactly like him. And yeah, I mean, like he does over the years, he's done a bunch. Beef, he once did, and I forgot what show this was on, but he did your guy, Bill Cosby. He did a Bill Cosby.
I got to find that now.
Didn't wasn't his Bob Dole impersonation just, I'm Bob Dole? That's all.
Yeah, and he just held the pen. That's it. It's basically,
I'm Bob Dole.
It was minimalist, but it was effective.
Yes. A lot of the stuff he did was very minimalist. And like I felt I like Norm, and the biggest thing that what I remember the most is like he is the reason that I had so many good years of the Howard Stern show, because he's the one that introduced Artie to Howard, and subsequently they like locked up, and like he's on the show, and like no one would ever know who Artie Lang is if there wasn't a Norm Macdonald. Because it's just crazy. I also think it's really bullshit that he outlived Artie Lang, because Artie definitely deserved to die before Norm. Like it's just like the drug stuff and all that. But it's like, man, I feel bad. I remember the last time Norm was on Stern, and then like he was on another show. Like wasn't there a Netflix show or something?
He had his own show. It was on YouTube first, and then it was on Netflix.
He looked bad. And it was like something was going on, and it's like maybe he's just getting old. No, he had cancer, and he was dying. Yeah, that's horrible. Like that's just so horrible. So
he interviewed Chevy Chase on that show, and it's incredible.
Yes.
So give that a watch if you've not seen it.
Norm was also the first one out there with all the OJ jokes.
Yeah,
he was not hesitating on the OJ shit. He got out there, and I rewatched a bunch of clips of that shit.
That's the craziest thing, right? Like in hindsight, if you're looking at his career and you're going, and then he got fired for telling too many OJ Simpson jokes, and you'd be like, how? Right. How is that possible?
Right.
Do you know why?
Well, because there was like someone like
OJ's best buddy was on the board at NBC.
Yeah.
And they're like, and actually, OJ Simpson was on the board at NBC for a very long time. And like, the guy was like, fucking stop it. And he's like, fuck you. I'm going to do twice as many. And what was the graphic that I just saw? It was like a book cover. It said, God told me OJ did it by Pope John Paul II.
His joke from the ESPYs where he's up there and he's like, oh, Charles Woodson, great defender. You're the first defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. No one can take that away from you. Unless, of course, you kill your wife and waiter. the crowd didn't know what to do with that joke. Some people laughed, but everyone's like looking around like, "Oh, should I laugh at this?"
I wonder if like what he thought about all those OJ jokes too. Was he probably like, man, he's like, this sucks. This is too easy. Like, this isn't even like my best work. And this is what I'm going to get remembered for. You know, he's like, he probably likes something totally different. I feel like us with our blogs, like you said, Chirizi, like, 5 people understood that and get it. And I feel like we throw those nuggets out there in some of our blogs too, where like, ain't nobody going to understand this, but it's a great reference. And like the people that do get it are going to be like, okay, yeah. So I wonder if he was like, oh, the OJ shit, man. It's like my fucking stairway to heaven. Fuck that.
I mean, the guy was ridiculous. And I feel like, we could probably tell stories about like different things we listened to or heard. And like we haven't even touched the Bob Uecker story. We could probably go on and on for hours, but I will say that if you haven't seen Chris Tannehill posted, I think it was Chris Tannehill posted a story that Jason Benetti told Speaks and Parkins this week about meeting Norm and the story that ensues. Go listen to it. Well, wait 2.5 hours for us to be done, and then go listen to it.
Not 2.5 hours.
Exactly
no.
right.
Something like that, close to that.
Something maybe.
But a question for you fellas: what are you drinking?
Ow.
Well, I see my Sock Summer's finishing something. Beef, what are you drinking?
You know what? I changed it up tonight. I'm drinking a little rum. Hopefully the rum. I'm drinking it straight up. This is the Chairman's Reserve.
Drinking it straight up.
The Santa Lucia distribution, the Forgotten Casks rum.
And
it is really good. It's got a great nose on it. I've got a great nose, and it has a great nose. So we're combining, and it just smells so good. And I've just been sipping on it a little. Here, I got a little water to back it up to wet the whistle. But going straight rum. Hopefully the rum don't get me.
How's the ass on it? The nose is good. How's the ass?
Flat as could be.
All right. That's how we like. That's how we like it.
My Sock Summer, what are you drinking, man?
I just finished a truly raspberry tea that King Dom's wife left at our house. I'm putting those away. And I'm opening up a strawberry truly tea.
Oh, there you go.
Hard seltzer. I have 5 of these down here. This is the last tea. Now I'm getting back into my Kirkland generics. But if I drink more than 5 of these fucking seltzers, please call the police because somebody is taking over my body. So I can't imagine I'm going to drink more than 5 of these. I was like putting them in the bag. I was like, maybe you should put 6. And I'm like, no, I think 5's the limit.
I envision Sting and Stuart Copeland just bursting into the background.
Andy Summer wouldn't bother with you.
Get him.
What you got over there, Chirizi?
Wait a second. Before we get to me, I'm getting a little tired of your seltzers going on here. I think if you're going to keep this up next week, I want you with Zimas and Jolly Ranchers. That's where you got to go. That's where this is headed.
I don't think Zimas are back anymore. I think they're gone again.
You're on eBay, motherfucker.
I'm not buying something to drink off of eBay.
Oh, it's past the born on date. That's right.
Yeah.
It's like IPA.
I am not LA Beast. Okay, I'm not drinking.
That's up for debate
from the 90s. No,
that's up for debate.
No, I don't want to join my daughter in puking all over the place. No, thank you.
It'd be great for the ratings of this
but
show.
I definitely
puke would be
listen.
So.
I love watermelon Jolly Ranchers. Those things are fucking delicious. I would definitely have one in my mouth and be drinking a Zima. That would be great.
Doesn't White Claw make the flavorless? What is it called? Like pure or something? Where it's just a seltzer basically.
Mm-hmm.
You get that and some Jolly Ranchers next week. That's
what
I
want. Just put it in there and let it dissolve, or do I keep it in my mouth and just drink it with each drink?
Hey, it's none of my business.
Oh.
Just asking. You seem to know your way around this very well. I just want to know.
You drop it in.
Like
you drop it in.
This is extremely horny.
Like a tab of acid.
Drop it in. So what are you drinking, bitch? Let's go.
Well, I'm drinking one of these right here.
Oh,
nice.
So our guy, Aloha Mr. Hand, was out at the Hall of Fame inductions, and he got us some beers from this is from Cooperstown Brewing Company.
Been there.
It is the limited edition induction summer ale, and it's a delicious little summer ale. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I got 3 more of those backed up, and then maybe a Sox ale. And if I get through that, guess what I got? My Sock Summer, a very old Sun Crusher.
Nice.
That's still there. We didn't get to it,
dude. We had that brunch, that like brunch hero or whatever over at the game on Tuesday when Loaf wasn't there, because we like to live it up when he's not there.
That's true.
And it had been filled. It was like almost 2 months old. Like, and it wasn't great. I'll just say that it wasn't good. So I really, Sox, please rotate out some of this shit. Like, my God, I get really bummed out when I pay $12 for a beer and it tastes like ass. So
I thought it was fun.
I know, but you would drink ass. So I mean, that's like when you drink that old Sun Crusher.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I don't have the highfalutin tastes of a guy who's drinking strawberry
tea
seltzers
that were left at his house. Oh, come on!
Talk about how much he loves Jolly Ranchers.
I'm basically a valedictorian because of this motherfucker.
Oh my God! All right, Beef, you got something to say?
Fucking right, I do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live on live stream right now and haven't subscribed, make sure you tickle the undercarriage of that subscribe button and get on board. If you're listening on the podcast feed and have never enjoyed the eroticism that is the YouTube version of this show, just come to youtube.com/FromThe108 and hit that subscribe button. The current goal is 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to go up from there. Last I checked, we're at 971. So we are very close, a pubic hair away from getting to that 1,000 mark, which you want to get to.
A very thick pubic hair.
Real curly one. Fucking coil, baby.
Like almost 30 people wide pubic hair.
That's how we do it here.
So, am I going next?
Go for it. Pay some bills, man.
Am I back on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, because it phased out right before you did that. So my dad was in last weekend. I asked him, "Have you heard my ad read where I talk about you?" And he said no. And so I'm going to keep reading it till he hears it and says it's fucking hilarious. So here we go. So tonight I want to talk about Mazda certified pre-owned CPO vehicles. A few weeks ago, I was back in the mean streets of Sterling and heard my father's trusty old used truck had finally bit the dust. The details of how it went down were sketchy, but it was possibly the fault of my father driving the car home with the emergency brake on. Not sure. Now, why do I bring this up? Because my father has never bought a new car in his entire life. No fooling. The man values his pre-owned cars, and Mazda of Orland Park, and at Mazda of Orland Park, he'd be covered. Only the best maintained latest model vehicles make the Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle cut. To be eligible, they must pass a rigorous 160-point inspection. From major to minor components, each vehicle is scrutinized and tested to make sure it meets the highest of standards, so you can feel confident, enjoy every drive in your Mazda with an elevated state of being, mile after mile. You also get a 12-month, 12,000-mile limited warranty, a 7-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and finally a zero deductible on all covered repairs. All the benefits of buying new without the price. So, Dad, since you'll be looking for a pre-owned car, get your ass over to Mazda of Orland Park and let them show you some of the options. It was good enough for my main man, Teresi, and Adam Engel, both guys with juicy jubbles, so why not give them a try? Give them a follow over at Zoom Nation or check out their worldwide webpage, MazdaofOrlandPark.com. They are a Carfax top-rated dealer and take advantage of that $500 discount for Sox fans. Fuck Cub fans. Mazda of Orland Park, home of the Zoom Nation. 8910 West 159th Street, Orland Park. 708-444-3200. Zoom.
You know, that's wonderful.
I love your Zoom.
What's funny, and I was thinking about this, I almost threw it in the ad read, but like I like doing my Micro Machines guy, impersonation when I'm doing this. And I didn't want to throw it in there. My dad used to tell me how I bought a pair of pumps. I bought a pair of Reebok pumps when I was a young kid, like the first pair that ever came out. And he used to want to tell me my first car cost $50 less than those shoes. And I'd be like, you got a great deal then. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I've only paid $150 for these shoes, Dad. How am I going to get a car for $100? And then when I got my car, it was like $600. I was like, Dad, I could have got 3 pairs of Reebok pumps for this car. Should have kept those too, because I could probably sell that goddamn box, that I kept for forever for probably like $300 right now. So I don't know where that is. Fuck.
All right, guys,
let's go.
It's time for some baseball talk.
Yeah. Booyah.
All right, let's get into it. So we're getting into the final throes of the season here, guys. We're getting close. We're getting close to the playoffs. We are going to be in the playoffs. I mean, unless there's a fucking plane crash, the Sox are going to be in the playoffs. And so as we talked about at the event last week, I felt like Tony La Russa was going to use some of this time to kind of mess around with things and try and figure out how he was going to manage in the playoffs, right? Figure out what different things he can do. How could he use the roster that he has to win playoff games? And Beef, let's talk first about the bullpen usage of recent days. So like what's been happening in like the past week or so that's been interesting to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had talked at the last show, and even before that, I'd written a blog about how I was a little concerned about the White Sox bullpen usage during the season compared to what they might do in the playoffs. I took a look at the 2018 and 2019 ALCS teams and how they managed their bullpens. And really, a lot of those teams were using pitchers kind of almost every day in those games. Obviously, there's a rest day here or there in a series, a 5 or 7 game series. We just hadn't seen much of our bullpen talent going like that. You know, you'd see maybe Ryan Tepera being a guy who was used fairly regularly like that, and then Craig Kimbrell and Liam Hendricks when you had leads here. But what's interesting is you noted, Teresi, at the Kroll's event on Wednesday night before the Boston series, you thought that we were going to see Aaron Bummer get used like a loogie. So fast forward to Friday night, the White Sox start Carlos Rodon. He goes through 5 innings. He looks terrific. They bring in Michael Kopech. Kopech only manages to get 2 outs after facing 4 batters in the 6th inning. And lo and behold, what does Tony La Russa do? Tony La Russa goes to Aaron Bummer and goes to him for just 1 fucking out, just like a loogie, just like Teresi mentioned. So we were all, kind of looking at each other like, oh shit, like this is coming to fruition. Move forward to the next inning, and Ryan Tepera starts that inning. He has a rough go of it, gives up a couple runs. He's shaky. To end the 7th inning, getting again just 1 out, loogie situation. Tony La Russa brings in Garrett Crochet. So exactly that phenomenon you were talking about, Treasy, with the using the lefties situationally to kind of get an out, or maybe even possibly 2 outs. It looked like Friday night looked like bullpen usage of a playoff game. It looked like Carlos Rodon got his 80 pitches or whatever. And hopefully he's going to get built up a little more and be able to go a little further in the game. But he came out, and then they went right down the line and used everyone, including, going to Kimbrell in the 8th, Hendricks in the 9th, closing the game out on Friday night. So it was a very interesting look at how Tony might use those lefties situationally different than he's done all year. I can't remember. Can you, Teresi, remember situations where they were very specific usage like that, where it looked like a playoff game?
No, I mean, I feel like most of the season he's been trying to figure out what he actually has in that bullpen, because I think it was supposed to be like kind of a layup and just be like, we've got this incredible bullpen, so just pick whoever you want. And as the season went, they've gone through a bunch of different guys, and a bunch of guys they've kind of deemed as like useless, right? I mean, like, and so I think he's got an idea at this point. Like he's managed to get an idea of who everyone is.
Yep.
And more importantly, who they're not. Right. And I don't think that, like when we were coming into this season, we're like, Aaron Bummer, probably like your 8th inning guy. Right. And what are we going to do with Kopech or Crochet,
Right.
And now you're like, Bummer's probably a loogie. Right. And which is not valuable in the regular season, but could be very valuable in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, and so that's the interesting thing that we're coming into. I have to say, I thought he used Romy effective today. That was a good use for that 1 out that he came in and got to end that. Yeah, your shit's falling apart.
My
behind
stuff's
you.
falling down here. The duct tape, it was already coming down, and now it's falling a little more. Let me see if I can refasten that.
There you go. There you go.
You duct tape, sir.
It looks perfect. It looks perfectly even with the other one. That's what I'm really proud of.
But so, I'm interested in how he's going to use those 2. Like I just don't I don't see them being necessarily high leverage guys as much as maybe put them in against a tough lefty or if there's a couple lefties coming up in a row, which is rare, do that.
Interesting. MSS, you got anything on that little usage right there, or we move on to the next one?
What I've been seeing, and I thought that was my one point I was going to add, and Treasy kind of just said it, like he said it in the show. He's going to be figuring it out. I think he's still figuring it out. Like he's just seeing what throws out there. When we saw Ruiz go out there the other night, and I was worried. I was a little worried. And then he's been more solid. I don't know. It's just weird. It's like I don't know. I don't know what's happening, and it's a little scary. So yeah, keep figuring it out. Fucking get it locked in.
Now on Saturday night, something a little different happened. Dylan Cease went out there. He had one of his worst outings probably of the entire season. He was absolutely brutal. He got lit up. So they had to go to the bullpen early. They went there and Bummer to kind of fill in some of the innings. In the fourth inning, Tony went to Kopech. Now, this is Kopech on back-to-back days because Kopech faced 4 batters the day before. He pitched 2/3 of an inning. He went to Kopech for 7 outs on Saturday, which I hadn't seen him, do much back-to-back Kopech. I think he's only done it maybe once or twice early in the season. Mm-hmm. And then go for a full 7 outs. Now, Kopech was absolutely dealing. Looked terrific, so maybe that's part of the reason why. He got through those 7 outs, I believe, in 31 pitches. So maybe that's why he extended him a little bit. But it gave you another layer of, okay, look, I might use these young kids if I don't use them every day, or don't use them kind of in the 1-inning slot all the time, kind of every day. I might stretch them, and they might cover up for 2 pitchers that would be used for a single inning, and we'll give them 5 to 7 outs or whatever in this spot. So that was kind of interesting usage there. The rest of it, and then right behind that, he kind of did the Bummer thing again. He gave Bummer 2 outs. He gave him 2 batters, 2 outs. Both were strikeouts. He looked terrific. Pulled him out of the game. So again, he was looking for a spot where he could use Bummer, where Bummer's going to be at his best. Mm-hmm. Bummer absolutely performed there. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, now it's a pattern, right, Treasy? Now it's a pattern when you use Bummer kind of in that same role on back-to-back nights against a good hitting team in the Red Sox.
I think that's where he's seeing Bummer now. That's just how he's going to use him. The thing that's interesting though is Kopech, and I feel like his usage of Kopech is basically is he on a heater or not? Right? It's like if you go to Beef, if me and you wake up early on a Sunday, we head out to the casino at 6 a.m.
Yep. We're
playing a little bit. If we feel like we're on a heater, we're doing good, we'll probably be there 5 hours.
Right.
If shit's just going really wrong, we might be there 40 minutes. Just be like, nope, not today. And I think that's his mentality with Kopech as things move on. I think if he feels like if he comes out and he doesn't have it, he'll let him try and get through a couple batters. But if it don't work out, he's going to pull him. But he's then going to make him available for the next day.
Yeah.
Being like, I didn't use up your pitches. I want you back-to-back days. And then hope that now he's on fire. And if he's on fire, he's going to let him go until it looks bad.
Well, he seems to give people chances to redeem themselves and to get out there to redo something. So I think that's something that's important for La Russa, and important to note in La Russa, that he doesn't just say oh, well, you suck, so I'm not putting you back out there. He gives people chances to redeem themselves, both offensive and defensively.
Yeah, that's a good point, MSS, because I think the interesting thing here is we're talking about the 70-something-year-old dude, and we're like, you got to give him time to learn, and figure things out. And then we're talking about Kopech, and we're like, why isn't he awesome? Don't let him learn. Don't let him. He's had so much experience. Why can't he just be awesome right away? And
I love that comment, Treasy, because it's the truth. It's how things actually work. It's hilarious. Everyone goes, oh, he's a Hall of Fame manager, so you got to trust anything he does. But he himself, who is at the top level, does not. He's trying to figure it out and he's always testing himself, and he's always trying things out. And that's how you true trial and error in real life. And it's that's how you can tell the guy's smart. That's how you can see he's smart, because he's making some mistakes. But then he's like, okay, maybe we'll do it this way and try to figure this way out. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you also to give fans a little bit of a grace period. We've been waiting to see Michael Kopech pitch since 2016. You know what I mean? They've had their dicks on hard for this kid for forever. And then you got blue balled last year, and he got blue balled after he got rained out however many times before that. I mean, it's just good Jesus, just let me fucking come already. That is literally what these our fans are saying. Show me a good one, And so this year you're finally starting to see it. You're just you should be good, and they're not. He's not yet. like he's getting there, but he's not there.
Now to close out that rest of that game on Saturday, Craig Kimbrell comes in for the 8th. He gives up the booty. He's been struggling a little bit. He has a rough ride. The White Sox end up losing in extra innings. So move on to Sunday now. Again, a facsimile of what a playoff game would look like. Lance Lynn goes 5. He looks great. He has 9 strikeouts. Obviously, he's coming back from injury, so the pitch count doesn't get all the way up there, but they kind of use him as is. And Tony goes and gets Garrett Crochet. And what does he do? He used Crochet in the loogie roll on Friday night. He gave him a rest night on Saturday. On Sunday, Crochet goes and gets 5 outs, faces 7 batters, throws 28 pitches. So he did the Kopech thing with Crochet. He let Crochet roll until he kind of used up all the juice there. And then he kind of, I guess maybe getting a little thinner or maybe found a good matchup that he liked. And as my Sox Summer mentioned, he brought in Jose Ruiz. 4 batters clean, no strikeouts or anything. But back onto the redemption, after Kimbrell had given up shit on Saturday night, given up the lead, Tony went to him in the closer role. He went to him and gave him a shot. The Sox leading 1-0. Didn't turn out so good, at least in the top half of the ninth. He gave up a run. Now lucky for us, the legend, Lurie legend, walked that shit off in the bottom of the ninth. So what do you guys think about the usage on Sunday with Crochet going extra, Ruiz stretching it out a little bit, and then giving Kimbrell another chance?
Oh, okay. Crochet is interesting to me. I mean, because it's it's very different usage, right? We were talking about, could he serve like a loogie roll? But I think he's more volatile than a bummer. Like a bummer is just like, it's not going to go very well against right-handed players, right? But Crochet's a guy who could come in and just dominate, or could come in and look like shit. And so I think he's again a similar usage as Kopech, but I also think he finds the thought of a guy like Crochet who could throw really hard and is lefty as a very high leverage situation pitcher in the playoffs. And I think he was touching on that in the first usage. And then in the most recent usage, as you mentioned, he's looking at him like, okay, if I have to use him for, 2-3 innings, can I? If Crochet can do that, that's insanely valuable. Like that's like sure. Andrew Miller stuff when Andrew Miller was good. And yes. And so I don't know, maybe he's just trying to see, is this guy that? Is he if everyone's telling you in the org this guy's probably not a starter, this is what you would want him to be. This is like the peak of being a reliever, other than being a dominant closer, right? But I think what he's trying to get Crochet to do is actually harder than being a dominant closer.
Well, and with that rule change, these guys are becoming more and more, that you need them. You can't just throw a guy in there for a batter anymore. Right. You got to have a guy that can go 3. So you definitely need a guy that can do more of a long relief versus, just go in there and fireball, dude. So that's good. And I think both Kopech and Crochet are the same thing. Now, as long as we continue to get a Garrett Crochet in there often enough, so my man Love can continue to keep my man John Holmes' memory alive every time he comes in. That's what I'm here for. That's all I need to see. I don't care if he goes 5 batters, 5 outs, gives up 5 runs. As long as I see a beautiful picture of baby John out there just having a good old time, hey, that's great. Johnny, what was his detective name?
Johnny Watt.
Johnny Watt. I just wanted to make sure it was Johnny Watt. I was gonna say it, and then I was waiting for Kier to probably tell me I was a fuckhead and to go fuck myself, and then get made fun of. So that's awesome.
I do want to clarify something on the Crochet thing, though.
Yeah.
I was talking to Andrew Miller comp. Yeah. I don't think he's that. I think if you remember at the beginning of the season too, he was the one that I was most concerned with in the bullpen. He's the guy I kind of believed in the least, and he hasn't done a lot to make me really believe in him. but I think that's like I if I'm trying to read Tony La Russa's mind and not just think about wine, I would be trying to see if he's kind of an Andrew Miller type. And I hope he is. I want him to be.
Yeah.
I don't
that
believe
would be really nice.
I mean, I think kind of what you're seeing here, Treasy, you know, we're seeing what Tony is looking at as sort of these hybrid situations. He knows he has only a certain amount of arms he trusts. And so when things go perfect, he can afford to use Crochet in that loogie role. And that role is like, okay, we're just going to give you one batter because we're already here at this point in the game and we didn't have to use you yet. But if shit goes sideways, he wants to test that he can use both Kopech and Crochet in those spots because in the playoffs, that does happen. In the playoffs, the teams, and I'd done a blog showing our guys against kind of the playoff teams and when they've gotten past the fifth inning, and they were like batting 50-50 as a group. I mean, it's not promising because the good offensive teams are really work it to death, and they're going to force a lot of pitches out of you. And sometimes in a playoffs, you got to go to the bullpen early. And so I think he was trying to see, can I trust these two to do that in addition to the role I would have them in if Giolito goes 7 and everything works perfect, and I just want to use them for a batter or two that lines up very nicely with them before I get to the bad boys at the end. So I really like the flexibility that Tony tried during the homestand. I'll say Tony and Ethan. I mean, I'm sure Ethan Katz is involved in this shit too, trying to figure out kind of how they're going to use these guys. And I really enjoyed that. Now, my Sox Summer, you had mentioned Tony giving chances. What do you think of him giving Kimbrel the 9th inning on Sunday? I was pretty drunk, so I don't remember what you said in the moment, but what do you think about him giving him the rebound there, you know?
I don't know. I mean, you got another guy for that shit. Like, bring him in. bring in the Aussie. Like, you got to do these things, you know? I don't know. It's not bad, right? And it didn't. I don't even remember if they won the game, to be quite honest.
They were a legend.
They were Larry Walkoff.
They won
right.
despite
the walk-off.
Kimbrel.
That's right. See, it's coming back. Thank you, guys. Yeah. I don't know. That was a bummer, but then it turned into like a good thing. I think you got to do it though, because that's what you're going to put them in when you get into the playoffs. You can't.
Yeah, I think they were trying it. I think
you have to just do that, right? You have to do something.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be there. You paid the money. Now you got to make it happen. So, like, I don't know. You got to do that.
The next time I see Kimbrel, I want him in a 6th inning role in an inconsequential moment. Like, I want La Russa to just give him that. Just be like, fuck you. I tried to let you close. Maybe you could do this. Not like that's where he's going to end up forever. I just want it once. I just want once for the guy who's like, I need to close or I can't pitch well. And then he closes and he doesn't close it out. And he needs Larry Legend to come and take care of the shit. Like,
right.
I want Tony La Russa to give him another chance. Give him a chance in the 6th inning.
Man, I think that's a little tough. I think you need.
Yeah, I think maybe that guy needs a little tough love.
My Sox Summer, I didn't know the haters' ball started so early. And Treasy was the main guest there. God damn.
You got your alligator shoes on or what?
Fucking right, I do.
The lime green match my socks and my pants.
I don't even know you, and I hate you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so overall, the weekend, La Russa treated that entire weekend, especially the bullpen usage, like a goddamn playoff game. I think pretty much wall to wall, he treated those games like playoff games, and I'm glad he did because we got a little look of what it might look like, and I feel a lot more comfortable now. The fact that he did do that, we got to see these different looks. Some succeeded, some didn't. Kimbrel was mainly the one that didn't succeed, but in summer, I think it was fantastic that we got a chance to see it.
So the next guy we're going to talk about is actually in the comments right now. So Bill Webb put in there. Vaughn stopped hitting as soon as he started growing that terrible goatee. Coincidence? I think not. And this is literally in my notes.
Read your goddamn mind.
But yeah, we want to talk about Vaughn a little bit and Beef. Take your fucking victory lap here on Andrew Vaughn.
I will. On Tuesday, the White Sox announced a bunch of roster moves. A couple we were excited about. Tim Anderson coming off the 10-day IL. Lucas Giolito coming off the 10-day IL. A couple that we were mad about, Danny Mennick getting optioned, Sebi Zavala getting optioned, Zach Collins recalled, probably to save that option, the option year that he would have lost if he'd stayed in the minors for 20 days. And last but not least, Andrew Vaughn placed on the 10-day injured list, retroactive to September 10th, with lower back inflammation. Lower back inflammation is what I try to avoid after I eat Chipotle. I didn't understand the, it looked to me like a fake IL. I had told you guys on a previous podcast, the man who needs a fake IL the most is Andrew Vaughn. He looks tired. He looks like crap. He hasn't been hitting it all. Now, people, including especially Alex Rude, are going to say that I'm a Andrew Vaughn hater. I am not. I love Andrew Vaughn, but he's supremely overloved. And he's got to produce more to get that kind of love from me. I don't give that love that easily. Not to mention, it's looking more and more every day like Eloy Jimenez is the better left fielder. Don't at me, okay?
And that's fucking terrifying.
It's crazy, but it's true. Like, he looked pretty good out there.
Yes, he has looked good out there. Absolutely. He got his shit together. It took almost ripping his tit off of his body for him to get his shit together.
Arm. When you first said that, I was like, motherfucking Beef is drunk as hell. Like, this is not correct. And then I was like looking at the replay of the catch, and I was like, you know what? He's right. I don't think Andrew Vaughn could have made that catch. He would have been like, it would have been like Wally going for that ball. He's like, he's gonna miss out.
Not tall enough, I've got the hops. Well, and Eloy actually made a great play in Kansas City on the run that I was like, Andrew Vaughn never gets to that ball. And it's nothing against Andrew Vaughn. He's a first baseman. What the fuck? He did fine in left field for his athletic ability. That's not a slight at him. It's his overall roster we're talking about.
Eloy's like, 6 inches taller than him, too? Yeah, like 8 inches taller? I mean, he's got a bigger stride. I mean, Andrew Vaughn's little legs are like this big, He's just like, so.
Now a couple notes on Vaughn, some more recent, some less recent. Since August 15th, which is when I placed the bet on him to win Rookie of the Year at 12-1. Flush that money right down the fucking toilet. Vaughn is hitting 137 with a 222 on base and a 219 slug in 81 plate appearances. That's good for a WRC plus of 27. Just for the record, WRC plus 100 is league average, so 73% below league average in the last month or so. Kind of a little deeper look, though. Year-to-date versus right-handed pitching, out of all White Sox with 130 plate appearances minimum, Andrew Vaughn weighs in last. Vaughn's against righties is at 223 with a 280 on base, 340 slugging. That's good for a 71 WRC plus. I had written a blog back in June trying to figure out Vaughn. And Vaughn went on a little heater between that blog and between now when he's kind of struggled again. But I was asking the question, like, what do you do with Vaughn come playoff time if some of these things haven't been rectified? And we thought for a minute they were, because he got on a heater for a little bit. And then I don't know how much of it is lower back inflammation. I don't know how much of it is rookie wall. I don't know how much of it is, pitchers catching up to him, fatigue, whatever. But with that struggling, and when looking at the Houston Astros roster, okay, when you look at their pitchers, the Houston Astros have 3 left-handed pitchers on the 26-man. Only one is of much real consequence, to be honest, and that's starter Framber Valdez. Yeah, exactly. So you start thinking to yourself, you know what? Vaughn had a good stretch in there, and he, for the year, he's been a league average hitter. So that's been nice. It's been helpful for the roster all the way. But in the short series, what are your usages of Andrew Vaughn? And so I put the question to you guys, kind of knowing what you know at this point, and without going up and down the roster, seeing who would get in or wouldn't get in, which we can get to if we want to. Do you think Andrew Vaughn is on the playoff roster?
It's really tough to put him on the ALCS playoff roster. Like, it's really difficult to see where he makes his plate appearances, right? Because the one game you could start him would be the game against Framber Valdez. Yeah. But you're obviously going to start Eloy in that game. You would probably use Leury Garcia in right? Right. So
maybe,
would you just DH Grandal and have Sebi catch that game?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, like, that seems like a reasonable lineup. That seems like a lineup that I would be fine with them having. And are they going to roster Vaughn just for that game? Because there's not even like, I think you mentioned that they only have 2 lefty relievers, right?
They only have 2 lefty relievers. Those guys, and let's see if you even know who these guys
are. So what are and what are the spots that you're going to use them then? Like it's difficult to see. So like I don't want to like throw away a bat like that, but like at the same time, I'm not quite sure how you could use them. Like I don't see a usage.
My Sock Summer, what are you thinking? How are you feeling right now?
I mean, he proposes a lot of things, and I just looked at like some stats too, and I mean, him and Luis Garcia are like neck and neck on a lot of like key components, right? So like, but I understand you guys are more tiled in on the lefty righty, kind of shit than I am, and you explained it very well, but I don't listen. So I just, it's one of those things, and I don't know. Like, I feel like if he was Makata and putting up like those numbers and then they dropped off, people would be all over his ass. But I really haven't heard shit about people complaining about how he dropped off so significantly. Like, it's just odd that like people aren't like, well, what the fuck happened to him? What's wrong with him? Well, he sucks.
It's not odd. It's not odd. He's overloved.
He's 100% overloved.
He's overloved. So he gets no one slaps him on the fanny when he's not playing well, except for us. And maybe Ken W.O. And then everyone's like, oh, Ken W.O. is a hater. B-Flo's a hater. It's like, we're not haters. He just hasn't been playing well.
I agree with Jack.
I can't see Sebi hitting a playoff game. I can't either, but I can't see Grandal catch every game.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
If and putting Collins on that, well, I don't see him hitting in the playoffs either. So I'll probably just take the better catcher to catch those games.
He made a great defensive play today. But I also, you want to think back with Sebi too. He had a 3-run homer game or 3 home run game. He also did the small shit to keep that Field of Dreams game alive too. So his baseball IQ seems to be pretty high. So like you can use them to bunt, you can use them to do something else. I guess I would say.
I don't want to shift the topic to Sebi. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Alex. I did not forget about Adam Engel at all.
Is he alive?
I went down the list. Well, he's believed to be coming back for this series on the weekend.
We'll see.
He's supposed to be back. Who knows? But I went down the list. I said, okay, assume the White Sox are going to have 13 position players and 13 pitchers. They may have a different roster makeup for the 26, but I think they're going to go 13-13. Okay. Here's what I've got penciled in. You guys tell me where I'm wrong. I've got Grandal catching. I've got Abreu at first. I've got Cesar at second. Oof, that's been brutal. We've got TA at short, Moncada at third, Eloy in left, Robert in center. I'll, for the moment, put Luis Garcia in right. Let's put Gavin Sheets at DH. Okay, and this is before we get to the bench. So that's your starting 9. Yeah. Obviously, you can move the pieces around. When you go to the bench, you got Brian Goodwin, Billy Hamilton, catcher number 2, whoever that you decide that's going to be, and Adam Engel. So that's 13 guys right there without Vaughn. So does Vaughn replace one of those guys? And before you like try to plunge Vaughn in there, like you're going to face a lot of right-handed pitching. And go back to the right-handed stats for 1 second. Number 3 on the roster against right-handed pitching by WRC plus is Brian Goodwin at 137 WRC plus. He's one of our best hitters against right-handed pitching. Gavin Sheets doesn't have enough plate appearances to have been in the list here, but Gavin Sheets also hits right-handed pitching. Both of those guys don't hit left-handed pitching at all.
But there's none to hit against. It's one of the rare situations where you're just not really you can avoid it for the most part. With
you may need one right-handed bat off the bench to combat, but the question is, where do you have room there? Like in the situation you were talking about against Framber, I mean, assuming Adam Engel isn't dead, Adam Engel's starting that game without a doubt.
Yes. Yes. If Engel is back, which it's tough for me to believe, because like every time you've heard Adam Engel is either starting a rehab stint or he's coming back or he's starting his next rehab stint, there's always a setback, or there's always like it's worse than we thought it was. Like, I don't know how fucked up his leg is, right? Like I don't think it's as much of a like just a strain as it's being put out there. I think he's got some kind of problem. and it's keeping him off the field.
Yeah,
and it's reminiscent of a Charlie Tilson where they kept just trying to bring him back and get him out there, and then they get him out there and he's like, oh, he's fucking hurt again. Now Charlie Tilson was made of glass, but they're treating it similarly, and so it's concerning as to whether or not he's actually going to be available for the playoffs. Like I would, I know you're trying to bring him back this weekend. I'd bring him back for the last weekend. Get the rust off in 3 days.
Well, he has been playing in Charlotte, to my knowledge. He's been getting some reps in Charlotte. But when you look at that roster that we're just talking about there, I mean, if the White Sox said, okay, we're going to go 14 position players, 12 pitchers, I think Vaughn's easily in there. If they're going to go 13 and 13, I think there's going to be some discussion about who gets left off there. Would you leave Gavin Sheets off in favor of Vaughn?
That's where it gets hard.
Not with tough, right?
Not with that many righties, right?
Right. That's sort of what I'm thinking too.
And then
I don't know.
The other thing is the problem. So here's the problem that I have with Brian Goodwin is that he's not good enough in the outfield to really play center field or to be a good right fielder. So he's not even the defensive replacement. So that makes Billy Hamilton absolutely necessary on this roster, and especially if you believe, like I believe, that we don't have a fully healthy Adam Engel. Right. You're not going to put that guy in center. You're not going to put that guy in as a defensive replacement too much, because you're gonna want to play him sparingly and put him in positions where he's going to be the most valuable. So it's tough to then push Billy Hamilton off the roster, and it's tough to push Goodwin off because he's so good against righties.
Yeah,
and so then what do you want off the bench? Do you want a power bat off the bench? You absolutely do.
Yeah,
but looking at the roster, who are they more likely to face, a righty or lefty? And the problem we have is these guys are polarizing on the handedness, right?
Yeah,
it's not
right. Yes,
it's not like we could go well, Gavin Sheets is obviously on there because he could hit lefties a little bit. No, he's got one hit off lefties, right. and Vaughn the exact opposite, right? He's not very good against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, Goodwin's also pretty poor against left-handed pitching.
Oh, he's horrible against.
So
he's horrible against left-handed
pitching. You got the yin and the yang. You got the platoon action for them guys. And Engel's hit righties in the most recent stint, but he's kind of crushed lefties for a while. So you would really trust him against lefties. So I wonder if the White Sox will pin their ears back and go 14-12, go 14 position players, put Vaughn on there, because Vaughn will be valuable if you get to a spot. Forget the game against Framber, which he would definitely play. You'd want him against the lefty. You get to a spot where they try to bring a left-handed pitcher in against, Goodwin and Sheets. He's a plug and play in that spot. That you'll want to use him there in that spot. So he's usable, but I think you're going to have to hold 14 guys, 14 position players.
And I mean, and that's I don't think we had this guy on the roster, but Dallas Keuchel definitely ain't making that roster.
That's right.
No.
I mean, I had already
for everybody on this boat, baby.
I had already shot him into the sun, but nevertheless,
he's gone.
We just threw away Dallas Keuchel's life jacket.
Yeah. It's gone. We're like Rose, just going you know what? There's only enough room on this giant door for me. You should probably drown.
Hope your beard floats.
All right, there's one other player that we're going to talk about really quickly, and that is, this guy's not on a playoff roster. Let's just put it out there. We're not talking about that right now. But Romy Gonzalez, they put him in a corner outfield spot the other day, which was strange to say the least. So we were trying to just kind of want to talk a little bit about what we're thinking is going on there. And Beef, I'll start. What I was looking at when I saw that was, the way they're treating Romy, I definitely feel like they like him. They see something there that they like, and they want to see what he actually is. And I think where that's important is you probably don't have Leury Garcia on this team next year, right? He's a free agent.
Yeah.
If he keeps hitting like he's hitting, someone's probably gonna take a flyer on him and maybe even look at him as a guy who's gonna start on their team. Probably not not a really good team, but and you know what though, MSS, like a team like Tampa Bay might find value in a guy like that who can play all these different positions, and he's good. He's a switch hitter and things like that. So I think they're preparing for him not being there, and they're trying to decide: do we go out and get a different super utility guy? Do we try and re-sign Lurie? Do we have an in-house option, or do we just kind of forego it completely? And I think, they're close to the playoffs. They want to rest people. They're not too worried about anyone catching them in the division. So let's see what this kid could do. This is the kid that we like. Let's see what he can do. Is he valuable to us, right? And so I think that's what they're doing. I could be wrong, but like it could just be like they were like, oh shit, we forgot a left fielder. Just throw Romy out there. Like it could be as dumb as that.
He's got a great name,
but like that's what it felt like to me when I saw it.
Yeah, I think you're barking up the right tree, Treasy. Especially, I mean, I think part of it too is this kid was on a major fucking heater, man. AA, he crushed everything in sight. They bring him up to AAA, he crushed everything in sight. At some point, you just want to reward your guys who are doing great at the minors, even if they weren't big prospects, and say, look, we're going to give you a shot. We're going to bring you up here. And yeah, I agree with you. They are preparing for post-Lurie Garcia life if they can't get him back locked in here. And I don't know about you guys, but Danny Mendick hasn't really impressed me that much. Danny Mendick's fine is to have as like your 30th guy. And when people get hurt, he'd come up. He's a competent defender at a bunch of places. He'll give an honest at-bat versus a lefty. But it's not a guy you want to be able to, you're not going to, if Danny Mendick has to play a lot during the year, that's not good. Like, and so you try to shoot the moon, like you were talking about, Treasy, with if it's going good with Kopech and it's going good with Crochet. I think Romy's been going good. Let's see what we got here. Let's just try it.
And beef to your Mendick point. So I was thinking about something the other day along the same lines, right? Like, I don't think anyone on this podcast is like, oh, I think Danny Mendick's very good. But I think that there's value in having a guy like Danny Mendick in AAA. Yeah. Right. And so when I saw them bring up Collins and keep his option, what I immediately thought of was the 2022 White Sox sign a catcher to come play, be the backup catcher on the team. Yep. And then your minor leagues have Sebi and Collins down there.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, I like that. I like Zach Collins if he's a guy that comes up when someone's hurt or someone needs a fake IL stint or something like that. Yeah. Like I don't like that we spent a first round draft pick on him, but it is what it is, man. The money's spent. All right. It's that's over. Now you got to do the best with what you got. And like having a bunch of guys like that you've used in the major leagues, exactly what they are. And now you've got them just sitting in the minors for when you need them. I like that. I like that predictability. I like that the idea of having that kind of depth. There's not like a budding star there or anything, but there's, it's usable guys when you need them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like Danny Mendick either, and I'm going to have to agree with Loaf in saying that. Yeah, if he plays a lot, it's not good, and he doesn't have that career arc that like Adam Engel has. Like we said this about Adam Engel 3 years ago. Like if Adam Engel is playing for our team when we go to the playoffs, we have a problem. And now we're over here like, God damn it, why isn't Adam Engel playing for our team right now during the playoffs? It's just, you're funny how that shit works, right?
You're absolutely right about that. But Adam Engel did have the one carrying tool, and that he was a terrific defender. So it's like, okay, you had that one thing.
Yes.
And if one other thing pops up, now this guy's like a regular.
And why'd he get better, Treasy?
Okay, so a few things.
Well, White Sox Dave fixed the swing. Everyone knows that. White Sox Dave fixed Adam Engel's swing.
First off,
he got a Mazda.
Well, no, you say it. You say it first, and then I'm going to say something. You go first.
So first, he had two great things about him. He had the tremendous defense, but he also has a tremendous ass.
He does have a nice ass.
And another guy with a tremendous ass, My Sock Summer once bought me a pair of Adam Engel pants
Yep.
that I've worn. I've worn them in the hot tub. You've seen them. All you people watching, you've seen them in the tub. It was like pants made for someone with a great ass, and I felt perfectly at home in those pants. But then the guy goes out and gets a Mazda, and now look at him. Now look, they were begging for him to be back. Just like after this Saturday, when I'm not on the show with you guys, people will be begging for me to come back. Me and my Mazda.
You should wear those pants when you're driving the Mazda.
I do.
Yeah,
most days.
No, I thought you were going to go with your guy. You got your guy down there in I want to say Birmingham. Got our guy all Menachino Magic. He got him magicked up. We started fucking hitting the shit out of the ball. Yep. He went out and became a fucking very valuable player. And so like him coming back, it just worked, you know. And I had something else I was going to say. Oh, Dave helped him fix his swing, but then he also had him on his podcast and jinxed the fuck out of him, and that's why you can't stay healthy. I mean, my God, Dave, leave our guys alone. You're gonna fuck shit up. And I don't remember a lot of the things we talked about with Papa G and Casey Giolito, but I do remember telling them, do not let him go on Redline Radio anymore because Dave is going to fuck him up. And they're like, and I don't want that. Okay. So just stay away from him. So luckily he heeded. They've heeded that advice, and like he has not been on there yet. So good job.
Who was telling us at the ballpark the other day? And we're like, yeah, Dave ruined Polka. They're like, oh, you guys are mean, man. Why are you being so mean to Dave? Like, oh, we love Dave, but he ruined Polka.
He did. He did ruin Polka.
It's true. It's true. And there's nothing truer than the fact that there's a bit we haven't done in a long time that we should have done and we haven't. And it's been breaking my heart. And I'm so glad it's back tonight.
Boom!
The Horny meter. The Horny meter is back. We're going in the playoffs. Woo! We've discussed a few of these guys already. And I think that it's important that we really put our stamp of horniness on each of these guys so that you really understand where we're coming from. Like, I don't want you to go away from the previous conversation thinking I'm not sure what these guys think of this player. We're about to tell you. We're about to tell you in horniness. All right.
Oh yes.
Yes.
So the first one up. First
down to the Kirklands.
Up. Oh, baby. Get those Jolly Ranchers up. First up on the list is one Lurie Garcia. And I'm going to start, guys. I'm going to start.
All right, do it.
It's the end of college. You've been friends for a long time. You always saw some potential. And now you're each moving to opposite ends of the earth. Time to bang it out like there's no tomorrow. Because there's not. That is your relationship with Lurie Garcia going into the playoffs. It is a very Jake Taylor, let's win the whole fucking thing moment here. You're getting all you can get out of Lurie.
Oh, that's impressive.
How you feeling?
I'll be honest with you, Trees. I got a little chubbed when you were talking that all up. I really it was great, man.
He should have rolled his R's more, but that was good.
Lurie Garcia, I'm as horny right now as Sonny Corleone in the 1972 feature film The Godfather, who was played by James Caan. In the respect that, my wife is there and all these other, beautiful ball players are here, but I can't help myself. I got to get right in there on this average-ish looking bridesmaid, and I'm going to do it in front of everybody because I just can't with Lurie. I gotta put my love out there and let everyone see it, no matter how embarrassing it's going to be for me. And so that's how horny I am, like Sonny Corleone, bad Don, but very horny.
Yeah. Don't end up all shot up like him, man. That's a.
He was doing some shooting up first.
I got to tell you, I hope you're packing like him. That's it. Good for you.
All right.
Where you at on this one?
So Lieri is the girl that you've possibly hooked up with before, but maybe she's got like a little lazy eye and maybe a snaggletooth. Hell, maybe some weird political views. So you are hesitant to go after her hard, but then you remember the last time you all hooked up and she blew your mind. Maybe something else too. So you make that minimal investment of one beer, but it pays off tenfold because she appreciates that. So you save a few bucks on her, use it for yourself so you can get over that snaggletooth so it won't bother you that much. Best one beer purchase ever.
No, I just realized we don't use the term snaggletooth enough in this podcast. I'm going to put it in my notes for next week already.
I know the term. I don't even really know what it means.
So it's like if there's like a tooth, like your incisor.
Yeah.
Because it comes out too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you would know it if you saw it. Yeah.
You just know them teeth is jacked up. You know,
yeah,
you
there's
don't
just
know
like
the
this
terms,
big
right?
old tooth hanging out. You're like, ooh, what's going on with that? Like, is that going to hurt me?
So the next person on the list is one Gavin Sheets. Beef, why don't you start us off on Gavin Sheets?
Gavin Sheets. I'm as horny as Andrew Clark, played by the illustrious Emilio Estevez in The Breakfast Club, was for Allison Reynolds, who was played by Ali Sheedy. It's one of those where you're not really sure. You don't even notice this person. And then all of a sudden they do something and they're right in your face and you realize you just can't get over it. You want to be there. You want to be with them. That's how I was with Gavin Sheets. I was like, whatever, Gavin Sheets is coming up. And next thing you know, he's pulverizing baseballs. And all of a sudden, I love him. I want him to be in the lineup every day.
I love it. I love it. My Sock Summer. Where are you at on one Gavin Sheets?
Gavin Sheets, he's the cool chick. Maybe she's just got out of a long-term relationship. Maybe she's out there just playing the field. She likes the socks. She likes your ironic band shirt you're wearing out on Little Friday. She makes a point to let you know that she likes what you are putting down. It's just so damn refreshing. You are all caught up in it, so you will just buy her anything she wants because you're just enjoying this ride. And you aren't thinking twice about anything because you know it'll pay off later. 2 mixed drinks and a shot for Gavin Sheets. That's how horny I am. I'm going to get that in.
So,
not even beers, dude, because you don't want her to get fat. You're like, yo, you can have a vodka seltzer. You can have whatever the fuck, whatever. Mixed drink and then a shot because you don't want to put too many pounds on there.
So to me, Gavin Sheets is that person that has like all those very exciting qualities that you want in somebody, but is absolutely not someone that you would marry. The person who just stays out for like 4 straight days and you're like, damn, this is fun, but this can't be good for us in the long run. That's the feeling right now because it's just like I see the strikeouts and I just am pretending they're not there. Right, because the other stuff is so much fun. Like I just want to enjoy all of that, and so I think that's Gavin Sheets to me is just like that pure adrenaline rush of a person.
Yeah.
That like when I see him bat, I'm like, oh yeah, I want some of this.
That's right.
I get up, literally and figuratively, and I'm looking for big things.
I thought you were going to quote some rap song.
He's going to give you his big thing too, man. 450 feet or whatever of it. Holy shit,
that was a home run. And jack the shit out of that.
You know what, guys? I want to thank you both personally because I fucking skipped right over somebody, and you guys didn't even bust my balls about it. We're coming back. We're coming back to him.
I literally I forgot. I thought I just wrote my notes wrong. I was like, oh, don't say nothing because you probably fucked up. And they're going to give you that look and it's going to be a long, awkward stare. And then people will rip on me. So I'm glad I didn't say shit.
Because I figured once you got to the next one, you're like, oh, we've only done 3. I'm missing one here. And then
I saw it immediately and I just couldn't stop talking. But so I'm going to go to Andrew Vaughn now. And I'm going to have my Sock Summer first up.
So he's like the hot chick at the bar, right? Everyone all up in that shit. But maybe you had a buddy that hooked up with her or knows a guy that maybe said that later here and there. Depending on how drunk you are and maybe you can buy her. Oh, damn it. Hold on. I fucked that up. I fucked this all up. So everyone's all up on her because she's a hot chick. But maybe you had a buddy that hooked up with her, or he knows a guy that hooked up with her and said she just lays there when they're like, you're getting down to business. Depending on how drunk you are, or maybe you buy her a beer and see for yourself. Me, Maybe one beer, I'd use my "you can buy me a drink" move. Shockingly, that hardly ever worked. One beer minimum return on this motherfucker. You can buy one beer and see what happens. Like
one beer maximum.
Unlike Larry, right? Larry, you give him one beer, you get a great return. This one, nah, man, you might not get anything, but it's a risk, right? Just like him getting up in like the 7th. Like you see what happens.
MSS, I'm kind of on the same page, and I'm remembering that Eddie Murphy bit. Remember where you're starving?
Yes.
And someone throws some crackers at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, damn, that must have been a Ritz, right? And I think that's how we all were.
Yeah.
Because we had a high draft pick that could actually produce in the major leagues. So, like, that was exciting. We were into it. And but now, and I'm going to try not to do a racism here, we just got some regular asshole crackers. I pluralized it so that it was... I'm still probably in trouble for that one.
You can say that. I think it's okay.
But really, like I feel like I think we're all kind of coming back down to earth on this one. It was very sexy at the beginning, and I like, this is fine. This is fine. And I hope that like a year from now,
yes,
people are pulling up these clips.
Me too.
And going, listen to these fucking idiots. Oh man, nothing would make me happier. I mean, in fact, you could probably do that from a year ago and absolutely get those same clips. But that's just how I am on him right now, where I'm just kind of like, this is a corner infield, corner outfield dude with some power.
Mm-hmm.
He's very much better at hitting one side of the plate than the other, or one-handed pitcher than the other. It's good. I like it.
But
it sustains me, but it's not exciting. Beef.
Oh my God.
Andrew Vaughn.
He ain't sexy. That's true.
I'm as horny for Andrew Vaughn as the affable Todd Chavez, who was a character in the seminal show BoJack Horseman. And for those who never saw BoJack Horseman, don't know anything about the show, this character was asexual.
Oh my God!
Wow,
my Lord!
I got nothing. I got no feeling right now.
You're out there. You're like, man, I don't want people to think I hate Andrew Vaughn. And in the horniness meter,
I'm gonna call him a eunuch.
No feelings for him at all.
No feelings. not a negative or a positive. I got nothing. I got no feelings at all. Nothing.
Man. Fucking crazy.
That's how I feel about Andrew Vaughn. I want him to be good, and I have nothing against him. I'm not negative towards him. I want him to be good. Right now, I got nothing. Show me something, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Last one is Brian Goodwin, and so this one is like when your friend is with someone and you can't figure out why. Like they're very you find out they're like very good at one specific thing, right? And that's kind of like where you are. So like if you've ever seen that meme with the girl with the horse, and you're like when all her friends wonder why she's with this guy, and like that's Brian Goodwin. Like he absolutely can hit right-handed pitching. Just that is what he can do.
Yep.
Damn.
But that's about it. Right? That's what you're getting. Like he can play the outfield all right. Like we've seen him in right field recently. He's been out there quite a bit. Like he ain't throwing anybody out anywhere. Like he'd probably get to the ball. That's fine. But like he's not a great outfielder by any means. And like in center field, it's worse. So yeah, he does one thing really well. And I like it. He's terrible at other things, mediocre at other things. Does one thing really well. And you know what? I can enjoy that.
Who gets to say whatever gets you through the night. Man, Luke Taylor up in the comments saying some shit. And I man, you better watch it. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you, Luke. So you know, he's over in our section spying. You better be careful. Be careful. Said too much.
Beef, what do you got on Goodwin?
Brian Goodwin. You guys know I'm a long time wanting Brian Goodwin on this team. I wanted him at the last year at the trade deadline. I'm as horny for Brian Goodwin as Mona Robinson from the hit TV show Who's the Boss, played by the lovely Catherine Hellman.
Bring her up too much.
Was for Tony Maselli if he was wearing a jockstrap made of Werther's Originals. And of course, Maselli was played by the ridiculous Tony Danza.
Samantha, Mona,
MSS. We cannot get through a fucking podcast without this guy going gilf on us.
Gilf, and he brings up Mona a lot. Yeah, he brings up Mona.
Like the original gilf. She's like the original gilf on TV.
So Loaf, let me ask you: you into redheads? You into old redheads?
No, not really.
No, like you see, because your wife is not a redhead.
No.
So just like Mona,
I'm into.
Is your go-to gilf?
I think we've had this discussion before. I mean, you know, we're doing a show right now. I'm into exactly what my wife looks like.
Yes. Well, I mean,
if my wife dumped me, I'd have someone that looked like my wife. Probably.
Right. You got wife number 2. He's like, exactly. It don't even look like it changed much.
She got rid of me. That's right.
Longer hair. No, that's interesting.
I'm as horny for Vaughn as Morrissey is.
I was just scrolling up the comments, and I was like, wow, yeah, this one's got to get off there.
Who would be
Alex
your
also thinks you're going to give him a huge heater.
Alex Root says beef's doing all
I give him
right now
shit.
to help Vaughn go on a heater when he returns. I love it.
Dude, so who's your go-to gilf? Like if you had to pick one gilf, like who do you take? Is it Mona? Is Mona your number one or no?
I don't know. What? I don't know. I don't have a go-to gilf.
I like how you're getting all bashful right now. We're talking about MILFs and you have nothing to say. And like you just like.
Why do I got to pick one gilf?
I mean, I guess
all gilf fields. What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, I guess right. I guess you're right.
Don't be that way.
I'm just asking.
Don't make our audience smaller than it needs to be. All gilfs. We're for all gilfs here.
Just want to know.
MSS. That's just a wild question, but the answer is Blanche Devereaux, obviously.
Oh yeah, horniest lady. Horny, so horny that lady.
She would destroy the horny meter.
Blanche is probably responsible for like 75% of the STDs that are in the Florida villages. You know, like that was probably all her. 100% her. Like she's just like, come on over, and then it's like, oh fuck, I got chlamydia again. God, Blanche, and then because the guys have Alzheimer's, they go back. All right, you're not getting canceled anymore, Teresi. I just took over. All right.
Oh my god.
Here we go. Brian Goodwin. Be good is like the older lady at the bar. Coincidentally, the mysterious one could be a grad student, could be your teaching assistant from your communications class. She's gonna try to buy you a drink, but you turn that around on her as she teaches you all about life, one beer at a time. You're falling hard for this one. She's gonna teach you a few lessons, but it's worth every beer. 3 beers for Brian Goodwin. That man is like a 3-beer guy.
It's worth every beer, and 3 is the number.
Listen,
it's worth every beer. I would pay up to $36 at a Sox game for this.
I'm going back to like
You're going back to college?
I'm going back to this was like my college.
Like $3 then.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying. Like, no, it was like $6. But like minimum wage was also $4 an hour or something. So I mean, I'm old. I'm not as young as you, Teresi, despite what everybody thinks. But no, I was like, that's what I was thinking. Like in this whole thing, I was like, I'm like at the bar. I'm at Molly's and at NIU, and like how they're sitting at the bar. How horned up am I? How many beers would I buy them in college? Like, because that's a pretty big thing. When you only got a couple extra bucks to your name, you know, you want to use it wisely, right? And especially in college when you're trying to accomplish another goal. So you're like, all right, let's use this wisely. So that's where I cut my teeth. Go NIU. Go Huskies.
It feels absolutely strange to transition into this now, but we did want to talk about what we think the playoff rotations are going to look like. So the one thing that we know is that we'll have won the division in plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like they're making a lot of strides to get home field advantage. in the playoffs. So I think they're just going to set up the rotation and make sure that they get exactly what they want. And so, the question to the group is like, what does that rotation look like to you? Who's going where in this? And who's your number one starter in the playoffs? Who's going first?
Are we going to do this together? Or are we going to like just compare and contrast?
I think me and Beef are going to be at opposite ends on this a little bit. Yeah, the number one, I think because I know Beef, you've mentioned putting Giolito there, and that's what you for the higher volatility and see what happened.
No,
Beef, I'm actually a little bit on a different page than you.
Okay.
I'm thinking about Lance Lynn in the number one.
Okay.
And the main reason I'm putting him there is I do think you could get 2 starts out of Lance Lynn, and if it goes 5 games.
Yep. I think you could with Giolito too. You can get it out of either of them.
But if I'm getting 2 out of one guy, I don't think I can get 2 out of 2 guys.
It'll be tough to go game 1 to game 4. It's a short. Yeah, it's a short.
And so I'm thinking I'm getting 2 games out of one guy, and which guy would I want the 2 games out of? And so that's what's tipping the scales for me on Lance Lynn. And then
let me flush out the point a little bit on Giolito.
Yeah, go for the Giolito piece.
The reason why I wanted Giolito first is because Giolito's got the most volatility in his results, particularly in 2021. When I say volatility, I don't mean just bad stuff. I mean bad and good stuff. Mm-hmm. If you take a look at Bill James's game scores, it's just like a simplistic way to measure how good a starter did in a game. Giolito's the only starter on the White Sox with 3 over 80 is game score. He's also the only starter on the White Sox out of the top 4 that has 3 game scores under 30. So he has that ability to be great and fucking blow the opponent away or have all kinds of problems. And if someone's going to have all kinds of problems, I want those to be in game 1 so that we have a full rested bullpen and we could really attack the game and pull the starter as quick as possible. It's better than having that kind of later on when you don't know who's going to be available. So, I think, and also, Giolito has been a little more consistent against some of these tougher teams. He and Rodon have been more consistent against the playoff caliber teams than kind of Lynn and Cease have, at least this year.
I'm going to tend to disagree with you. I like Lance Lynn, and most of the biggest thing is I think it's because of his durability. I think that he could take on that second game a little bit easier than Lucas Giolito can. And I think that would be my sticking point on that is that I think that he could bounce back a lot quicker than Lucas can.
And I'll add to that, and to just kind of combat your beefness on this. And what I'm going to add is that I agree in game 1, it could be a good idea to see what happens here. And then we can use our bullpen as much as needed if possible. But you're then condemning the same result to game 5. So even if Giolito is awesome in game 1, if we end up in a game 5 situation, you have probably out of the top 3 pitchers, the guys that you might try and throw in that game 5, the most volatility possible after you've done this short series and probably used your bullpen throughout if you're in game 5. And so I know you're not always playing for, what's going to happen if we get to the 5th game of this series, or you're not always playing for what's going to happen in the next series. But I think that when you have guys where you can kind of go like, it could be either one of these guys, you have to take some of those things into account. And I think that the 5th game is important in your reasoning, because you're then saying, I've got a guy who might come out in game 5 and need to come out of the game in like the 2nd or 3rd inning, which is
so. Alex Cruz just posted a stat, and they just put the ERAs up there. And my only question would be, how many games has Lance thrown against these guys, and how many games has Giolito thrown against these guys? And because I know it can't be the same, right? So I want to know what it could have been one bad game too for Lance, or maybe it was two bad games for Lance. I see this stat and I'm just like, I want to know the details on this stat. You guys see that?
Well, here's what I ran in my blog. Here I plucked off starts against Tampa, Yankees, Houston, Boston. Okay. And I plucked off total starts. So Lynn has 3, Giolito has 5, Rodon has 3, and Cease has 5. Okay. And then I noted how many times they went over 5 innings in those starts. So in Lynn's 3 starts, he went over 5 innings only once. In Giolito's 5 starts against those teams, he went over 5 innings 3 times. So 60% basically. Rodon was 3 for 3. He got over 5 innings against the tough teams every single time. And Cease only exceeded 5 innings pitched in his 5 starts against those tough teams once. So these are small samples. They're only from this year, so it's kind of like tough to fully tell. I mean, we're kind of judging things on a really small sample here. But for my money, I think it's more likely that Giolito and Rodon excel against these tougher teams.
I think it's a very small sample that we're working with here, and I have to agree with my Sock Summer on that. Like we're trying to predict things about 1 or 2 games that these guys played against a team throughout the season, and like you're talking about volatility, Beef. Like where could there be more when we're talking about like, well, in these 5 games that they played against these teams, like, well, that's such a small fucking sample.
But you got to use some sample, and you got to use some measure of quality,
I'm
right?
using, I'm using the season as a sample and saying like
a lot of Detroit's and and Kansas City's and lots of other bullshit. Like that's where it gets tough.
But there's not like I can't just throw that out, right? It's not like there's not professional hitters on all of those teams, right? Now, those teams overall suck, right? But you're still, it's not like there's just like, oh, well, you go out there and you just mow those guys down and that just fixes your stats, because it didn't for the other guys, right? If they're pitching that well against the good teams, what happened to them against the bad teams that they have worse stats than Lynn, right? Like, so like you can't just throw it out the window. They went out. Lynn has gone out and pitched very well all season. Lynn is a guy that I would count on in these games. I'm not discounting Giolito. Like it's weird to like think of Giolito as like having a bad year when he's got like a 3.5 ERA.
Right.
Like it's like this is like one of the best problems we could possibly have, where we're just like, which of these 2 guys do you want to start in game 1? And they might not even be either one of them might not be the best pitcher on the team.
Right.
No.
Right. But you just know you can't put Rodon in game 1 and 5 because that's like it'll break.
Yeah, I worry about that. I don't know that he can handle it. I mean, I'm worried about his durability. So yeah, that's the reason why you X Rodon out of that. Now, for some reason, they get to October 7th and they're like, you know what, we trust Rodon's shoulder and he's going to be fine. I'd be fine starting him game 1. I absolutely would.
See, Beef, I've got him starting game 2 actually.
Yeah, I don't.
And this is extremely extremely forward thinking. This is if I'm thinking, and I think we should have this mindset, right? Like we want to win the World Series, right? That's the point of going to the playoffs. You want to win the World Series. And if I'm going to get the absolute most I can out of Carlos Rodon, I'm pitching him in game 2. And then I'm pitching him in game 1 of the ALCS.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And because then you could actually get 2 starts out of Rodon in a series if you go 7. That is a distinct possibility. And so, and you could still get 2 games out of a Lynn or Giolito in that series too, because of the days off.
Yeah, see, I went Lynn game 2, and with the thought that you're only going to get to throw Rodon once in the series, and I feel comfortable. Like you guys were talking about the durability with Lynn, and I disagree with you on your theories on game 5, Treasy. Everyone is available for game 5, maybe except for Rodon. All hands are on deck.
Sure.
And so I feel comfortable with Lynn turning around in game 2 and being able to throw some innings in game 5 if I need him. So like that's kind of why I had Giolito 1 and Lynn 2. I would expect both of them to be available for game 5 to pitch in some capacity in that game. Whereas I don't think you can turn Rodon around and say, hey, you're going to throw 2 innings out of the bullpen. because we can't fire Ricky Renteria again. So I don't think he's allowed to be out of the bullpen. So I think that's why I slid Rodon back to 3. So I would go Giolito 1, Lynn 2.
I think that's not a bad option. I mean, you could bounce those two, go back and forth. You could have Lynn 1, you can have Giolito 1. And I think the real reason that Loaf is doing Giolito 1 is because he doesn't want Papa G to yell at him again and call him an asshole.
No. I can't wait to get into it with Papa G over some shit we disagree with about this team. I can't wait till the next off season when we get on the 108 Fest and we're doing a live stream or whatever for him to body me, and then hopefully I'm right this time.
You were definitely wrong this year. I mean, there's a lot of good points. Alex Rudes bring up a lot of good points, and I trust him a little more than Loaf. And you do. Wow. He has been kind of lights out, against some of these guys. I don't want to give up on my big boy though. I still can't. I can't do it. But I don't think you can make a bad decision on 1 and 2. As long as those two guys, I think you're totally fine. I don't think you can put a Rodon there, and it's just crazy that we're even talking about putting Rodon at a 3 spot. Are we all in agreement on that?
No, Teresa's got him 2. I think it's I got him 3.
I had him 2.
I'd put him 3. Yeah,
I had him 2 because I would want him to start game 1 of the ALCS, and that is my confidence in winning the ALDS. Now, you brought up Papa G. We are all in agreement that Cease is the other guy in this rotation, right? Like Cease is pitching in this as a starter.
Correct.
In this,
I would
right?
use him in game 4. Yes.
Yep.
So Keuchel's gone, right? Like, I mean, I think it's all agreed upon, but I just want to.
He's definitely not starting. I mean, he wasn't horrible Wednesday night against the Angels. I need to see the last 2 starts or whatever that he's going to make. I need to see kind of what it's looking like to see if he ends up in the back of that bullpen somewhere and they figure out a spot where they can use him to throw some ground balls or something, or save him for if they need some length if games go extra innings.
So he's going to throw some ground balls to some little leaguers, right? Because he's not going to be on this playoff roster.
So I don't think we're going to agree on who's going to start in game 1, and that's fine. Yeah, it's not our call, so that's also fine. But let me ask you this, because if it's Lynn or Giolito, we've seen this happen in the season where both of them need to come out early from the game. And in some cases they weren't pulled, or some cases they were. Right. But let's say that they have to come out early. Who is the guy that you're putting in right behind them? And let's assume it's game 1 so that we have the full roster of the bullpen. Who is the guy that is the next person up for you? Beef, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Michael Kopech. I mean, Kopech's the guy that you think it's possible he can come out there and throw 3 innings of BBs for you and bridge you back to where the bullpen would belong if you got to pull a starter early. I mean, I think when you say early, I'm thinking in the first 3 innings, basically. Mm-hmm. Something like dangerous.
Yeah, I was thinking like the second inning.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, I think Kopech is the guy that I want in that spot. I mean, I think it's that's him.
Yeah, and I think a guy that leads with his heart, as he's shown in his personal life and on the field. The emotions are going to get him, and I think you might get something special out of a Mike, on those in the game situation like that. Come in, saddle this team to your back and just fucking blow the fucking doors off the motherfucker. I literally he just fireball his way through it. It'd be great.
See, I'm gonna be with you guys because I think we're playing the Astros in that series. It's just, I mean, I don't see how it's not the Astros. It's just a matter of where we're playing the Astros. Mm-hmm. But if this were the Rays, I might go to a guy who I don't wholly trust, which is Garrett Crochet. And the reason is the switching of the hand, right? Because the Rays are going to load up on a certain side of the plate against you. And if in the case where your right-handed starter fails early in the game, I think putting in the lefty to go the next couple innings could be valuable. It could cause them to make some moves that they don't necessarily want to make. And that could be interesting throughout the rest of the game. Now,
yeah, right. They got to flip.
Crochet could come in and just suck, and then it doesn't matter. And in which case, I'm like, you pitch the rest of the game, then asshole. We're we're saving up for tomorrow.
And also, they don't have enough lefty to back it up. Where like they would change the whole thing. They'd probably just strip a couple guys out and kind of leave it as is. But yeah, I agree with you. That would kind of make them push the other side. And I see people in the comments listing how they would line it up. There's no wrong answer. That's why it's a fun discussion. Yeah, exactly. Definitely, like there's no wrong answer to any of this. Like my sex ever said, you want to put Lynn first or Giolito first or Rodon first. These are good problems to have.
I want everyone who's listening, everyone who's thinking through this, and it's a fun argument to have, and I want to tell you why it's so fun. Because last year, when we were going into the playoffs, we weren't trying to figure out who's our first starter. No. We were trying to figure out who could possibly be our third starter. Who in the world were we just going to have a bullpen game? That was what we were at last year going into the playoffs. And so like I think a lot of people have been watching this team, and we watch, like you're like us. And we all watch very closely, and we see all the flaws, and we see all the things where we're like, oh man, I can't believe they're doing this, and I can't believe that they got so many guys that only hit from one side of the plate. All of these different things that frustrate you. Every other team has that. Like literally every other. The Giants are out of their mind right now, and I'm sure that Giants fans are sitting at home going, God, I don't know how we win a playoff game. It's in every fan base. And they're going
to win 100 regular season games too.
The Dodgers are going to win 100 regular season games and be a wild card. It's a wild shit out there. All right. I think you just got to really kind of look at it and go like, is this team doing what we want them to do, which is get better every year and move towards a championship? And if you're not in agreement that happened over this past year, I don't know how this argument for the past 15 minutes has not convinced you of that. We have so many, like Dylan Cease has been a pretty good starter this year, and we're talking about like what's he going to get? 3 total games if we win the World Series, right? Because there's just so many guys that we have that we want to start, right? So like this is a very good position to be in. I just want to reiterate that because it's a great argument, and it's interesting, all the different angles, and all the different things that we would do in our manager brain of trying to like go like, well, I got to set up for this next series. I got to set up for this thing. Who's my reliever that would come in for this? It's such a difference from last year. It's amazing.
There's no question.
All right. My Suck Summer. Why don't you tell us what's going on, man?
This weekend, Saturday. I was going to say it would be more fun if it was Sunday, but it's not. Saturday. Me and the Loaf Man will be running in the White Sox Run Your Socks Off 5K. No, we will not be doing the 5K. We will be doing the 1 mile walk. You can get up there. You can go register right now. Go to you know what I do? This is like I do everything. I Google search Run Your Socks Off 5K, and it comes right the fuck up. You go right into there. You can order, or you can register for the event. Now, you have to be vaccinated, so just so you know, no need to get into it. But if you register right now, you could win 2 tickets to the Guarantee Rate Club. You could win 2 Southside jerseys, those the City Connect jerseys, and 2 autographed baseballs. So that's $50. You could win that shit. So you could register for the 5K. You register for the 5K 1 mile walk. Now, if you do this, you get your finisher medal, you get your socks off t-shirt, professional post-race photo behind home plate, which I'm guaranteed is we're going to have the best picture, Loaf. We're going to have the best picture.
There's no question.
You get a free free Michelob Ultra out there in the concourse.
Watch those carbs, baby.
Guess who's coming with us on Saturday?
Who that?
I know, I just froze.
Dramatic pause.
Matt Ramsey. He will be walking the 1 mile with us on Saturday. He told me not to mention it on the podcast. Fuck you. I'm going to mention it on the podcast. Now,
kiss my
post race, after we've drank our beer, we're going to return to our homes. You're probably going to jump in the cold tub. I'm going to come in and take a cold shower. Going to get all snazzed up. You're probably going to come pick me up because that seems to be how it works these days. We're going to go our ass right over to 514 West Pershing Road to the Ballpark Pub. where we are going to record a live podcast with another podcast. Who's that, Loaf?
Locked On Sox, baby.
Locked On Sox. Our guys, Herb Lawrence and Chris Tannehill. We can call him Herb and Tanny because that's the fun way to do it. So we're going to record an hour-long podcast starting at 5 p.m., okay? We're going to be out there on their brand new patio, which I've heard all these fun things about from Richie because he was DMing me like fucking every 22 seconds on the Instagram this morning when he found out I was there. And so we've been talking. We'll be out there. They got great burgers. They were on Chicago's Best. If you go up to Chicago's Best website right now, you can find their fucking thing. It makes this nice fucking burger. Looks delicious. They both put some like smoked beef brisket in the burger meat. It's dynamite. Now, the last time I ate there, I had a burger. The time before that, though, I had a fucking pot roast sandwich on the garlic bread. Oh my God. You put garlic bread on any fucking kind of sandwich, especially a pot roast, that fucking shit is dynamite. So they got good craft beer, especially shitloads and shitloads of Goose Island. So get out there, come check it out. We're going to have a shitload of prizes. I'm picking them up from the Sox tomorrow. I also have some Goose Island prizes that we'll be giving away. I think our guy Alan is going to be back. He's probably going to bring a shitload of stuff to give away because this might be the last one we do before postseason. So we'll see how it goes out. So 5 p.m., Ballpark Pub this Saturday, 514 West Pershing Road. Come on out. It's going to be fun. We'll take selfies with you. Loaf will give you some hints on how to, beat the Sox math thing. It'll be great. So, hey, did you talk to Benetti last night? Because he was walking out while you were walking. What did you say to Benetti?
So, Jason Benetti's coming out, and him and Len are coming out, and they got security with them. And Teresi and I and Quernsey are just a little bit like ahead of where they're at. And so I step on like 1 foot onto the grass, like sort of towards them. But he's probably like 20 yards away-ish. And I yelled, Jason, how was my video? Is it okay? And he said something like, it was awesome. I can't wait for you to hear my reaction from the broadcast. So I still haven't gone back and listened to the reaction, which I gotta do after we get off this podcast.
Oh, so I don't feel so bad that I haven't seen it now either because you haven't either. That's great. That's beautiful. Come out Saturday. It's going to be a fun time. I know Herb is excited. I know Tanny is probably excited, but he's kind of more of a,
he's reserved.
He's more, he a little bit more. And hopefully we get a late showing by our man Chorizo up there. We'll see if he shows up to like, hey, say how bad we did.
What we need? We need Ballpark Pub to have a van to come pick up people at Riot Fest. I'll jump right in.
I'm sure.
Get on that.
He'll come get you. He'll come get you. I think he's got an Escalade. He'll come up and pick you up. I'll put a little sticker on the side that says bus.
I'm gonna have Biggins with me too. So make sure there's enough room in that thing.
Yeah, you can put him in the trunk, fold him up.
Teresi's it's like he's in the A-team. He wants to dive into the van.
Fucking right.
That's how he's living out there right now.
Guys, it was like a year ago. I saw the A-team van was up for auction, and I thought about like how we should get it, but it was way too many thousands of dollars for us to get it. But it would have been awesome.
And I don't think it was screen used.
Yes.
Okay. So then I'm okay with that if it's screen used.
All right. Speaking of screen used or gently used
or auctions,
we're gonna bring something back. I've been excited for this. I can't wait. I've been waiting all damn show for this. We're bringing back This or That.
Hell yes.
My Sock Summer's gonna tell us some things that he sold on eBay.
Yep. I love that graphic.
And me and Beef are going to decide which one sold for a higher amount. And we're going to go back and forth. I think you got about 7 things you're going to give us.
I do have 7. Yes.
Nice.
And whoever wins, we're better than the other person.
Listen, if I sell more Beanie Babies, though, this segment is going to be changed to This or a Beanie Baby. That's all it's going to be. However, we're going to pick out what Beanie Babies sold for more and all this. It's going to be instant.
I love it.
What Beanie Babies sold for
tonight? I was hoping it was all going to be Beanie Baby matchups. That's what I was hoping.
Well,
I was hoping it was like what did a Beanie Baby sell for versus what someone actually might need.
That's why you got to do that. Why you got to do me like that in front of all these people that potentially might buy my fucking Beanie Babies?
Really?
It's kind of not nice.
That's way out of line.
There's no one in this audience buying your Beanie Babies.
All right. First item up. The WWE Survivor Series from 2004 on a VHS tape. Or a vintage Chicago White Sox Thanks for the Memories final game at Comiskey Park t-shirt.
It's 100% the VHS.
I don't agree. I think it's the t-shirt. I don't think the VHS. The t-shirt's older, and I'm not sure about this 2004 VHS. I mean, that shit's got to be on YouTube already. No one needs that thing. So I'll go with the t-shirt.
Go with the t-shirt. You're going to stick with the tape.
Yep.
The VHS tape, $14.99. The vintage Chicago White Sox Thanks for the Memories t-shirt, $15.50. You got beat by 51 cents, Chorizo. All right. This one is from my man K-Dog, and I know he just got up in the chat. He's going to enjoy this very much. An autograph photo from legendary adult actress Brie Olson versus 3 authentic Yeti vinyl stickers. Yes, fucking stickers that just say Yeti on them that I got for registering my Yeti products that I bought for $1 at thrift stores.
All right, I'll go first this time.
Yep.
I'm going to go with them goddamn Yeti stickers because everything Yeti makes is so unbelievably expensive. I mean, it's well made, but it's very expensive, so I'm going to go with them stickers.
All right.
See, I got to go with the stickers too, because what I'm guessing is that people are buying those stickers to stick on things that are not Yeti products and then resell them. So I think they're willing to pay a little bit more. I'm going to guess you got like $10 for those. That the Brie Olson thing was like $2.99 or something.
The Brie Olson photograph, I will tell you, was the most lewd and crudest autograph I've ever gotten from an adult actress. It was the best. I was just like, when she wrote it, I turned red, and I think that was her point, and it was great. It was very funny. The Brie Olson legendary signed photo, $9.99. 3 authentic Yeti vinyl stickers, $11.97.
Got that one. All right.
So you guys tied on that one. All right. Yep. All right. No one gets a point. All right. Clerks. The movie Clerks. You guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
all right.
Yeah.
Clerks Series 1 in action figures. It's a J. It was just a little J figure on the card. Purchased it at a closeout sale at a Tower Records out West Coast. I don't know if you guys know. I used to live out west. Or the Princess Diana BB baby with intact tag. So we have the Clerks Series 1 in action figure of Jay, which is the first one they released, or a Princess Diana bear from 1997.
I'm first, right?
Yeah, you can go first.
This hurts to say. It's the Princess Diana bear.
Okay.
And I hate that it is.
Now, I feel like MSS tipped his hand a little bit with the Beanie Babies he sold and said that he did well on them and threw a number that I don't remember out there for the group, but not for any individual.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well the Princess Diana did. You know, I'm gonna go with the J figure. I'm gonna go with Clerks. I'll go with the Clerks thing.
The Clerks figure, $25. The Princess Diana bear, $26.88.
Fuck.
Now, here's why this is fucked up, Chirizi. I could have picked the other Diana bear that I had, and I don't know the difference. They have an old face and a new face one.
Yep.
One sold for $5. This one sold for $27. I don't understand it. I'm just sitting here going cha-ching, 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 because I spent 60 cents on that motherfucker, and that's the thing. Dale, I don't like you going to my thrift store, motherfucker. Stay away from the Unique on Halsted and 30th. You're probably the reason I haven't been getting shit there. You've probably been buying up all the good stuff. You know, feel free to buy all the Beanie Babies, but leave me the good stuff. All right.
I'm glad to know Dale's scheming in on your business at that thrift store.
Right? Yes. All right. So tied up. Well,
that's
I've also moved on to the lime version of the Kirkland brand seltzers, which is the worst. Okay, definitely the worst. All right, Chicago Cubs old style beer beanie knit hat It's like, like those little beanies. They don't got the ball, right? Just the one. Just says a big C on the front. It had the old style logo on the back. Or a Philadelphia Phillies employee beer vendor jersey. They give their beer vendor jerseys. It was number 310. It was a double XL. Yeah, and that's probably all you need to know. So it's an authentic one. Used at the park, had a nice patch on it, bright ass yellow. Man, the Cubs old style beanie.
It's tough. I mean, I'm first in this one.
Yes.
I would think that the jersey would be more valuable, but you know what? Random Cubs shit seems to sell like a motherfucker, so I'll go with the beanie.
Okay.
I'm with you here because he oversold the jersey. Telling us how like I had a nice patch and everything. And he gave a big description of that and not a big description of the beanie. So I'm gonna go with the beanie too.
Okay.
Chicago Cubs beanie knit hat, $25. The Philadelphia Phillies beer vendor jersey, $19.99.
Yes, we got it, Treasy.
Yeah, I thought I said both. I go, they got the patch on the back and this, and then I said the patch on the front with the jersey. I thought it was the same. That's a tie. All right, still tied up 1-1. All right. Lagunitas Brewing Company, IPA beer ale version of their black work shirt. It's a Dickies work shirt versus a brand spanking new from the 90s. Jan Sport Tahoma backpack for hikers. Like it's big one, like the big tall one. Yeah. I was at a garage sale and I saw it and it still had the tags on it. And the guy's like, yeah, just make me an offer. I'm like, $10. He's like, all right, cool. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I bought this brand new. It had a weird order to it, but I took it. And it's a JanSport from the 90s. Remember they had like the straps in JanSport? They had like the weird like designs on it and shit. Oh, this was like tripping out, man. You could have done some acid and looked at this shit. It would have been great. So
what was the Lagunitas?
Lagunitas Brew. It's a Dickies work shirt. It had the IPA logo there, and then it also has the Lagunitas Brewery on the back. You can purchase them at the brewery. I purchased mine at a thrift store for $3.
Man, because the hiking pack sounds expensive, like already
originally, right?
But then those work shirts, man, they go. So I'm gonna jump at the work shirt. I'm gonna take the bait and I'm gonna go work shirt.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the backpack. I'm gonna go with the JanSport, man. I feel like backpacks, especially ones that people are into, could be expensive. So.
Yeah.
It was a dope backpack. I almost used it for all our cords and shit for the when we go out on these tours. But I was like, fuck it, I gotta get money. Lagunitas Brewing Company shirt, $35. The new JanSport Tacoma backpack, $45.
Yes.
So beat you by $10 there. I will say this: if you see a brewery work shirt, buy the shit out of them because I sell everyone for $35 ship, and they do not stick around in my store long. People love that shit.
Dale's out there buying them right now.
Yeah, he probably is. Fucking Dale. Dale, if I fucking see you there, and I don't know what you look like, Dale, but if I fucking see you there, I'm going to get you. All right. This is a good one. You guys get ready for this.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
A 2016-17 Chicago Bulls team signed ball. Now, who does this include, right? From 2016 to 2017. Dwayne Wade is on there. Jimmy Butler's on there. Rajon Rondo is on there. And Fred Hoiberg. Or
Fredberg.
A vintage and rare Smashing Pumpkin shirt from 1999, the Arising Tour shirt.
All right, I'm first. I'm going to go with the tour shirt. No one wants that bullshit Bulls basketball with those guys. I mean, it would be better if it was just Dwayne And instead of them other guys on there, And Jimmy's good and everything, but no one is worried about commemorating the 2016-17 Bulls. So I'm going to go with the Pumpkins t-shirt.
All right.
It's the tour shirt. I've seen shirts that I've had where I'm like, oh, whatever happened to that shirt? And then I look it up on eBay and it's like, oh, that's $250.
Yep.
So I'm going to go tour shirt.
And I send you pictures when I see them in thrift stores too.
Yeah.
The original Citizen Dick shirt that they put out when singles was popular was they had an obnoxious price of $200 on it at a thrift store. And I was like, this is insane. We've 100% jump ship. This is insane. So anyway, the 2016, 2017 Chicago Bulls team signed ball, which I picked up from a guy who I pretty sure stole a lot of giveaways from the Chicago Bulls. $99.
Wow. Okay.
The vintage Smashing Pumpkins shirt that I found in a rack for $6. $72.
Oh man,
I was so disappointed when it sold for $72. I thought it was going to be like, a little bit more. So yeah, that one we who you guys both booked the cheer shirt. So
yeah,
we're both losers. All right, listen, if I don't, this is my seventh one.
I'm up 2-1 right now.
So who's going first on this one?
Goes first.
Treasy's going first. Treasy's going for the tie. All right. A Lou Bordeaux, Cleveland Indians Hall of Famer replica statue versus a Ty Beanie Baby, Coral the fish.
I'm gonna go with the statue. I'm gonna go with the statue on this one. I think Coral the fish sucks. I don't remember him, but I think he sucks.
I hope Coral is the girl, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's kind of bogus if I go with the statue and then I just fucking secure my victory. So fuck that. We're going to go with Coral, whatever the bullshit Beanie Baby is that only sold for $7.
The Lou Bordeaux statue that was given to me by a guy just trying to get it out of his house, 99 cents. The Ty Beanie Baby of Coral the fish with PVC pellets, $4.99.
Yes.
Meatloaf, you are the winner of this or that.
Baby.
Let me ask you a question, Beef.
So proud, yeah.
What was more exhilarating, winning Sox Math or this? Yeah, absolutely.
About this. I mean, I've won Sox Math, a bunch of times,
hundreds of times, thousands of times.
Beating you in this much more exhilarating for me.
Have you ridden in Cadillacs more than you've won Sox Math?
I'll have to get you a big trophy that I will find at a thrift store, undoubtedly. I saw one the other day. It had a ball in it's supposed to be like a globe, but they put like a baseball in there, and it was like best T-ball something or another. I was like, oh, I should buy this, but it was like $4, and I was like, man, fuck that. I'm not spending $4 on a fucking thing. That's
$4.
Stupid.
Come on, son.
Man, that's stupid. Shit.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate all the comments.
Saturday.
We will see you on Saturday. I will see you late on Saturday, unless I see you at Riot Fest on Saturday. And you're wearing your 108 gear. Maybe I'll buy you a beer.
Oh yeah.
Talk to everyone soon. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Fuck you, Dale.
Peace.